Welcome everybody to our latest session of the Restoration of Cariele. I believe we are on session 32. So as usual, do a quick recap of what occurred last week, and then we will get started with tonight's session. So you guys will probably recall we picked up last week. You guys were in Cerilia, the capital there of Cariele. You guys were set to do some sort of administrative type stuff. You had called an early special session of council with the express intent of meeting the guild rep that has been assigned to your court on behalf of Miele Bierion. And you guys asked that representative to even show up early. So a full 2 weeks early, you arranged for him to arrive. When he did arrive and meet with you, he was a fairly young looking man. Though Tavern mentioned that he, based on his eyes, a very deep blue, didn't really almost look like natural human blue, he suspected perhaps that there is some elvish heritage to this individual. So perhaps he's not as young as he looks. Hard to say, as you guys don't have much information about him. But he goes by the name Parniel Sidian, and you guys met with him. He's very new, obviously, to this post. Seemed to be kind of even new with his association with the guild. You guys spoke with him and didn't have exactly a overly positive impression of him, as he didn't seem to have a ton of information, or at least didn't share it with you all. If he did, and you guys let him know about the loggers that were killed in Riverford, and that you were going to personally go and check it out. You asked him if he had any additional information. He did not. He was unaware of this event having occurred, so he took some notes. There was also some suspicion dropped by our regent here that maybe the elves of Twerhiaville were involved, and it seemed as though Parniel took a particular note of that, making sure to write it down. Eventually, you guys, after he asked, what should he be doing? What is the relationship between the guild rep and your court? And you guys essentially kind of brushed him off for the most part and didn't really offer him much in the way of accommodations or anything like that, letting him know that he will have to find his own lodging. And eventually down the road, maybe that will change. But as of right now, you don't have like an ambassador row or anything like that. Though I believe there was some conversation about maybe setting something up like that in the future. So with that meeting complete, he was asked to leave, and he did so. You guys then, after speaking amongst yourselves, seemed to be pretty quick and kind of change course and decide that you were going to personally march off and head in that direction to investigate the killed loggers and see what it is that you could find out. So you guys quickly gathered all of your stuff, and you left the area heading northeast. And you're already in Riverford technically, because Carolinian's at the center of all three provinces, but technically rests in Riverford. So you guys made the journey out that way, first picking up Stinky, tracking him down to have him rejoin the group, then made your way in the area, or tried to make your way towards where the loggers were. However, you had spent more, full day traveling at this point, so decided to kind of bed down camp overnight. Just before the sun was gone, Vin decided he was a little bit antsy, as he had been doing mostly bureaucracy type stuff and hasn't done much in the way of adventuring or fighting. Decided he wanted to go hunt for a deer. He was successful, but it took him a ways away from the camp, you guys' camp, before he found the deer, took it down, and then started bringing it back. As he did, he overheard the sound of singing. It sounded like a bawdy tale being sung by others somewhat nearby. He decided not to immediately go that direction and instead dragged the deer back to the camp. Once he got it there, he filled the group in on what he had heard. A few of you decided to make your way in that direction to see if you could hear anything, and were not able to track that sound down once again. So with that complete, you guys made your way back to the camp. The deer was being processed and so forth for its meat. And eventually, as you guys were kind of deciding, getting ready to go to bed, what exactly you should do, what do you know? A very strange occurrence happened, and a rift to the shadow world seemed to open somewhat close to you. You guys have gotten somewhat, I don't want to say used to this, but that card has come up quite a bit. So it is not something that's totally foreign to you at this point. So with that happening, you guys sort of watched it for a while to see if there was anything out of the ordinary, anything strange. As you guys kind of debated about whether you should leave this area or wait to see what happens, eventually a woman's head poked out. It was kind of normal sized woman's head at the moment, But eventually, as it fully exited from the Shadow Rift, you could see that this head grew in size, and it had this long tendril, almost like an old dirty tree root, stretching out from it. And you could see that there were various skulls embedded in this tree root. This creature, as it turned out to be, was very large. In fact, it was huge size, and you guys found yourself in combat. It was a capable spellcaster and also very potent at cracking through counterspell, as Céline found out, unfortunately, as she was certain that her counterspell would work, and unfortunately did not against this creature. So this battle raged on as you guys did what you could fighting it. You did some pretty decent damage to it, but then it used some magic to get away, and then was striking at you guys from the distance to the south. Eventually, the Stinky charged into battle, and unfortunately, based on his wounds and the next attack that the creature did to him, she did indeed manage to swallow him. After swallowing the bear, there was some time that passed before she regurgitated him, and eventually those of you guys with line of sight realized that Stinky had been turned into a zombie at this point and was now fighting against you. Your team fought against the zombie Stinky, and Blixel was able to throw out some magic, particularly the slow spell, to affect the main creature that came out of the rift. So she was a bit hampered and was trying to stay away from you guys, though still using some of her particular abilities, specifically legendary actions, to get herself some additional minions in the form of floating antlered skulls. You guys were able to determine that these antlered skulls provided her some degree of protection. Eventually you managed to destroy those and destroy her, but not before she actually swallowed Blixel as well. But luckily you guys were able to dispatch the creature before she got a next turn, before she could actually expel a zombified Blixel. So yes, with the creature slain, you guys are here and noticing obviously the creature slain, but having noticed or having learned from Céline that this creature, which is a type of Shadow World Naga, is not ever permanently slain when it is killed in the Prime World. So essentially, within 1d4 days, it is going to reform here and continue perhaps its reign of terror, or who knows exactly what it will do, but it is certainly not destroyed permanently. So with very badly wounded team members, particularly Blixel and a couple of the rest of you who are about half health at the moment, that is where we left off. So team, anything I missed there that you would like to add to the recap?
I initiated payroll for the council, and everybody officially got their first paycheck last week, 400 gold, and we came up with a deal amongst ourselves for future payroll, and we paid Arthur to go after um, the thief from Moriad.
Yes, indeed. So the council members are officially on the payroll at this point, getting 1 gold bar salary divided amongst the council members. And yes, Arthur has been given a stipend of 500 gold pieces or a quarter gold bar to make arrangements, hire who he needs to hire to try to track down this thief who has entered Cariele and supposedly is in possession of a breastplate from Moriad that is sort of a family heirloom. Good addition there, Vin. Go ahead and take inspiration. Anyone else? All right, hearing nothing, we'll move on. Céline, of course, will take her inspiration for another great entry into the journal that is shared with everybody. And let's go ahead and dish out a card for everyone as well. All right, take a moment to review your cards. As usual, let me know if there are any questions.
I must have. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I must have missed that about the 400 gold, so I should add that to my now.
If you haven't
Yes,
added it to your sheet, then yes, you were paid 400 gold pieces. I mean, you can assume it's back in Cariele waiting for if you wish.
yeah, you could have kept it in your room. You could have it on your person. I don't care what you do with your money, but you did get it.
It must have cut out when I had that terrible internet last week.
No worries. All right, so folks, I'm going to put us onto the overall map. You guys obviously are a bit wounded. Blixel is still unconscious, according to what I see on my screen. In fact, why don't I put you guys there just so you can see your HP and see what you might want to do about that before we back away from the sort of focused area.
Portal is still open too, I believe, right?
Yes, the rift is still there. Which, of course, Tavern has decided to become its guardian, so he makes his way up there to watch it and make sure nothing else comes out.
Can I just do a general walk around the area? And I know that when we killed the creature, it turned into smoke and ash. But can I see if there's any remnants of it? Anything left over? Any skulls or bones or
Well,
anything that was
be-
left behind?
Anything that
before
we
that,
can hunt back through the portal?
is Blixel stabilized?
I'm going to say yes, because I don't think we ever leave a session with someone not stabilized.
Right.
So my understanding is he's stable. I'll remove the little bleeding icon from him. But he is at 0 HP, what I see. So as you take upon this task, Vin, go ahead and throw a blind check. Searching around this area, you find no remnants of this creature whatsoever.
That goes to Blixel.
Farfig Nougat. Oh, hello.
Welcome back, friend.
A zombie?
No. You're fine. Just there's some mud in your mouth. That's what it takes to bring you back. I had to spit on some dirt and shove it in your mouth, but don't spit it out. I just swallowed. Sorry.
Whatever you say, Doc.
I'll come by and kind of give him a reach down with my arm and pull him up off his ass. So tell us, what's it like to be swallowed?
Oh, it's wonderful. Highly recommend it. When that thing comes back, we can all try.
Can I examine Stinky and determine the what happened to him? Did he turn undead? Is he a ghost? Can be revived?
Yes, go ahead and give me a blind check for medicine here. So I would say, based on what you're able to see here, Dean, he is physical. He's not a ghost. Based on his state, you assume he is what would be known as like a typical zombie. So he was alive, of course, got swallowed by the creature. You're assuming the creature infused him with enough negative energy to animate his body as a zombified bear, spit him back out, and then you guys destroyed him. So his body's here. I would say, based on that check, you would know that there's not much you can do for him at this point without really powerful magic.
Well, do we burn him?
Can we skin him?
I don't feel right doing that.
Then he can be.
Yeah. What are you thinking there, Serena?
You're cutting out. We couldn't hear you.
Stuff him.
Or like a taxidermy version of Stinky at the castle?
No, I think she's very attached to Stinky, and maybe a little shoulder wrap might remember her by when she goes into battle. I could possibly do that.
All right, only if you're okay with us skinning you when you die.
Well, it's an animal. Don't be confused with an awakened animal. It's still an animal.
We're all animals.
Well, what? We have this conversation with the druid?
I'm just saying. Stinky was walking and talking, thinking. If you feel okay taking his skin after he's dead, I might end up with a D&D rug at one point.
I whip my knife out and I say, "You won't have the chance." Yeah, I could. Adam, is there some nice flesh, like some fur around that I could take a good maybe shoulder wrap, that kind of goes over Serena's shoulders or something like that?
Sure. Do you have any special skill in skinning animals?
Only my one I would get from living in the forest my whole life.
All right, fair enough. Go ahead and give me a blind check here, Dean, as you set upon this task.
Can I help with my experience getting from hunting?
Sure, yeah. So you guys both take to the corpse here of Stinky and try to do what you can. The flesh of the creature of Stinky, it does seem a little bit, I'm going to say squishy, almost like it's not exactly as solid as it would be for a total living creature that had just recently passed. But it hasn't been a zombie long enough to make the fur like useless or anything. So yeah, you spend probably a good, I'm going to say, hour here as you extract a section of fur, skinning Stinky as best you can.
Wow, that's a long time. Okay. Well, now it's like 1 a.m. So maybe not the best choice.
It's hard work.
And the shadow portal still is open at that point?
If you call forth the tavern, he will let you know that he hasn't seen anything change with it yet.
Well, with Serena helping me, I'll fold up the fur and hand it to her with one hand underneath, one hand on top. I say, I know you were very attached to him. Do what you wish with this in remembrance of our furry friend.
Thank you.
And I'll head back to the camp fire, which is there it is. Okay, guys, we need some sleep. We need to get our short rest back. And are we gonna stay here, or what are we gonna do?
I think we should at least catch our breath, give ourselves an hour or two, and stay close to the portal just in case something else comes through. And if not, then we can move maybe to a better spot that's not right beside it and get a full night's rest.
It is 1 a.m., my friend. I am going to sleep for 6 hours here, or I'm going to move and sleep for 6 hours somewhere else.
You do what you like, friend.
All right, I'm going to settle down for a long rest, Adam.
Which, of
An
course,
unofficial long rest. Yeah.
Unofficial long rest. Okay, got it. Anybody else doing anything other than planning to sleep here?
Yes, I still try to take some short rest.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna like stand guard and watch over the portal, make sure nothing comes through, but take a short rest while I do so before I go to bed.
All right, quick check on the short rest. I'm showing Dean and Serena both have 0, but I feel like that must be wrong.
I think it must be wrong too, but I looked at it and that's why I'm really hoping for a long rest, because I'm like, shoot, I don't remember how I have 0.
I'm guessing
we left the castle and came here right after sleeping in the castle for a night, so unless you took 2-hour breaks on the way here, I would say that's a mistake.
Yeah, I'm guessing the two of you did not reset your short rest in your display, so feel free to do that now. We'll assume both you have 2.
Okay, well, in that case, that changes the plan.
All right, so it sounds like at least some of you want to spend an hour here for the short rest. So you guys are sort of nervously watching towards the rift where you know this connection to the shadow world is. At one point in time, about 10 minutes into your short rest, you hear this very strange sound. It almost kind of sounds like a funeral dirge that is kind of wafting from that direction as the best you can gauge in your area. You watch it very closely to see if anything comes out of the rift or anything else, but it does not. And after another 5 or 10 minutes, the music seems to end. You notice Tavard watching kind of cautiously. Another 20, 30 minutes goes by, and then almost as though there is some sort of change in the air or the sound of the animals around you suddenly starts picking up, is when Tavard points there and he says, "The rift's gone."
Ah, nice tabard.
Yay.
Good work. Actually, Taver would say, I got rid of the portal, guys. Don't worry about it.
Adam, for the last like 30 minutes of the short rest, I don't really want to interrupt it, but can I go around to like all of these trees that are around this campfire here, and maybe some that are like even further around, like something like this, and make marks on all of them, like X's or cuts into the bark with my dagger, so we can remember where this portal was if we ever need to come back and find this spot?
I mean, sure, but I feel like it might take longer than that if you're trying to hit that many trees. So, carving an X into a tree probably takes, I don't know, 5 minutes, right? So, based on the number of trees you're looking at there, if you want to say that, 7 or 8 of these trees are marked, assume it's going to be, 40 minutes or so.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I've got wood carver's tools also, so I'm sure I have, like a chisel and a mallet that I could probably speed up the process a little bit with. But yeah, that's fine. We just need to know how to come back here, especially after Saleen's info drop about this thing respawning itself.
Okay, fair enough. So, yes, that we will assume is complete. Those of you that wish to take a short rest, go ahead and type in chat which short rest option you are using and deduct one of your short rests in your display. All right.
Should I re-roll that since it was 2 GM, or is it
You can
matter?
you can keep it. Just set yourself back to public for the next two.
Okay. And then for my next ones, I actually have to roll a different. I have to roll a D8 because it's barred.
Yeah, that should be on your sheet. You should have both of them. Let me just see. Oh, it looks like we don't have that option turned on for you. Just a moment. Okay, so as a quick reminder, though, let me double check our house rule. I feel like our house rule says you use the lower one for all of them.
Yeah, it does. I read it earlier. Only if you have an even number of both does it take the higher one.
Okay. Okay. I'll just re-roll all then.
Okay, yep, that works. Okay, so after the 1 hour short rest, is there anything you guys are doing other than basically trying to sleep overnight here?
Then we'll look at everyone and say, well, the plan is still to go and check on these loggers, correct?
Yeah, we talk about it in the morning.
One other thing is Buxel will cast Cure Wounds on himself.
Okay.
I suppose we can talk about it in the morning. I'll take first watch.
Okay. I'm going to sleep because I almost got turned into a zombie.
All right, so as you guys intend to sleep out overnight here and then wake up in the morning and figure out what your next course of action is, you post watches, but turns out to be unneeded as the night passes by uneventfully so, and eventually you are all waking up early the next morning. As you can see the night sky in the air, I'm going to go ahead and turn some global illumination on here for you guys as it is now daytime. The campfire, of course, has certainly burned out by this time.
Now we can short rest or reset our short rest too, right? Because we
You
slept
can.
overnight.
You can, yes.
I mean, I'd like to take another little rest here if possible, but I understand if You're all itching to go.
I'm in no hurry.
I don't think we're in a hurry. Lord, Vin, are we in a hurry?
Celine, what did you say? How long does it take for that thing to come back? Sure, it's not hours, right?
Within 4 days, between 1 and 4. I don't know if that means 24 hours minimum or if it could happen at any time today, but I don't want to stick around here for long.
Well, do you think it opened the portal?
I don't know. It's possible.
They might just be really mad wherever it came from and not be able to get back here. But either way, I don't think we should stick around for it. But if you give me an hour, I'll be able to cast some more spells for you.
Am I under the impression that when it respawns, it will respawn exactly where it dies, or is it like a demon thing where it goes back to the abyss?
You're not quite sure, Saline. You just have heard tales of these creatures cannot be destroyed permanently while they're on this land.
Well, I think the worst case scenario is that it reappears right in front of us while we're trying to rest, and then we have to fight it all over again. Which would be bad.
Well, perhaps we travel a little bit further to the east or north in the direction we were already going, and then we huddle up, take an hour, and we game plan. That way we're not in the same spot, and Blixel can get back any strength he needs. Sound like a good solution.
I agree, my lord.
Are we less than an hour away from where we were going? Or still?
I'd have to check my PC awareness since I'm leading the group. Where are we at there, Adam?
Yeah, you can make a blind check to see if you can gauge distance. You think you're probably an hour and 30 minutes, hour and 45, something like that, from where you expect at least the logger camp to be.
All right, that's what I'll tell everybody.
All right, let's do it. I do think we should burn Stinky's body.
I agree.
Serena, do you want to do that? I can't really bear to look at him after you guys mangled him up.
I'll help you, Serena.
Sure.
I heard that pun. And I see you and I appreciate you.
Yeah, it's unintentional, but I'll take it.
So Serena and I will go down. I don't even need to move her. Maybe we do, but go down and I can do produce flame and start burning Stinky.
Imagine that's probably going to take a little bit, so maybe Blixel, you can take this as your opportunity.
Sure, if it's going to take you an hour, I might as well do it now.
To burn a bear. I hate to bring it up, but it took quite a long time for us to burn my brother, so I can only imagine.
Okay, say no more. Blixel hunkers down and tries to short rest again.
All right, and during this time, Tavard lets you guys know that you're probably good on your own here, and he's got some business back in the castle he needs to attend to, so he's going to make his way back to the castle.
I got business 7 hours away, guys. I'll be back shortly.
I totally forgot about this appointment with the dentist. I gotta go, guys.
He says nothing about coming back.
Not surprising.
All right, so you guys are trying to gather some wood, start up a fire, and you're trying to burn the entire what remains of Stinky, or you're just like starting the fire and leaving?
Yeah, I was in my mind. I started so it's strong enough, and then let it go, let it burn out.
All right, so yeah, this will obviously take some time to gather some wood, get everything kind of set up properly. then start the fire, make sure it actually takes. So I'm going to say that takes you guys about 2 hours or so getting all those preparations ready. The fire is eventually ignited, and you can see that it is certainly burning. So on your best guess, you think that this will consume the corpse over a period of time.
Well, well, back to the earth he goes, Serena, and he is a good friend and a wonderful experience to spend this much time with Stinky, and you served him well, and I think he enjoyed his time with you.
I suppose it was unnatural for a bear to have been awakened, so.
Yeah, it's complicated, but you're right. He's taken out of his natural awareness and brought into our awareness, and yeah, it would be very confusing to experience such an event.
I'm glad he's at peace now.
Yes, he is. Right, so we're off.
Well, I see a couple of short rests here. So those of you that are short resting during this time, make sure you type in what short rest you're using. Make sure you deduct one of your short rests in your display. Okay, and yes, you guys are certainly ready to continue on if you're ready to go.
Lead the way, Dean.
I will. I'm going to do a blind check to see how good I can do it.
You're making not as good of progress as you thought, Dean. You actually get turned around a couple of times here before you realize, oh no, you went a little ways out of your way. So you lose about 20 minutes or so before able to make that understanding or get that understanding. But after about 2 hours now, you find yourselves walking close to an area that you suspect is probably where the loggers would be close by. And then what really clinches this for you is as you continue walking, you see an area that looks like it has been somewhat recently clear cut. There's a lot of stumps all around the place. You then notice some down and what looks like perhaps dead trees. And then there is a bit of still standing trees to the south. But surprisingly, you see no humans or no loggers, no people anywhere around.
Any buildings?
None.
Any use of the river for transportation of the logs that I could see?
Not in this direct vicinity. You know the river would still be off to your east a ways.
The guilds have been efficient.
Hurts my heart.
Those live trees on the very far bottom?
Those are indeed, yes, standing trees. It looks like they have not been cut.
Let me check my spell list.
Is there like, while he's looking at that, looking around, is there like any evidence of like recent, are there like tools left around to suggest that they left in a hurry, or is it just like completely deserted with nothing around?
Nothing immediately obvious to you, Saline, but you can certainly spend some time searching around for any like discarded tools if you wish.
I don't want to go too far from the group, but if I can, I'll look around, investigate.
Sure. So wherever you would like to investigate, I'm going to assume you're investigating in about a 20-foot radius from your token, and then let me know when you're good and throw a blind check.
Where were the bodies found? Located? Do we know that or no?
Only the information that was supplied to you through the briefing, if someone still has that.
I do. We'll put it
My
back in Discord.
My memory, it wasn't an exact location we received. I'm gonna point over here though. What is that? It's discolored and different.
Alright, it's in Discord, guys. I think, is that the one? Yeah. So I'm gonna go down to this tree, Adam. I'm gonna look around. I'm being cautious, obviously, and moving slowly, being aware. Is this a live tree I'm next to?
It is, yes.
Alright, let me pop this spell real quick here. It says you touch a tree and ask it one question. So Dean will walk up and look around and grab a hold of the tree bark and will puts his nose up to the tree and smells it and gets real close to it. It's kind of awkward, but that's the spell I want to cast there. Let me read it and see what I want to ask.
Okay. Once you're finished reading that, also throw me a blind check, Dean. All right, so as you approach this tree and you get ready to prepare to cast the spell, and you kind of do cast the spell, and you're, saying the word and so forth, you do notice now out of the corner of your eye on the trees that are down nearby you, you notice that there seems to be some vine growth. Not necessarily a natural vine, but more than what you would expect for this kind of a forest.
Interesting. Okay.
Plixel, remembering the Dryad, is going to use his blood ability to cast Detect Good and Evil.
All right, yeah, go ahead and post that.
Just in case I don't want to get hit by a Dryad again.
I'll ask. No, if I ask that question, it's gonna be in post it. Hold up, guys. It was stuck in my. There we go. One question would be, I don't want to ask what happened to the loggers because they'll say killed. We know that. I could ask. Well, they're not gonna know who killed the loggers either because they're not smart. I'll ask it. Here's what I'm gonna ask him, Adam. Well, I can't really say that. I wanted to ask him like if there's anyone else in the woods, so I get a sense. So I'm asking the tree if there's any dangers in this sort of dark area around me. Are there any dangers around me? Is what I'll ask the tree.
Okay. So you get a sensation of sight and hearing only, and the sight is of an individual that looks kind of like a logger walking towards the tree and starting to hack at it with his axe. And then so you're kind of looking through the eyes of the tree. So imagine you're looking north, right? And you're seeing this logger approach from the north to the south. You're seeing him approach head on. As the logger starts chopping into a tree, takes a couple of whacks at it, you then notice the vines seem to like move nearby this tree, and you see they shoot out in a spear-like fashion, striking right into one of the loggers, and it drops to the logger drops to the ground.
My eyes open up. No one move. Stand still, Blixel.
Why?
I've received a vision from this tree. What happened? What you're standing on, these vines, they could be the reason why the loggers fell. The vision came to me. That's who killed the loggers. Vin, be careful over there.
I heard you, but trees don't kill people. Not on their own.
Well, yeah, they do all the time when they fall on them.
Nature is fighting back.
Yes, Serena. Nature is fighting back.
It does not work that way.
Quick, is there a spell on these vines? Can someone detect that?
No. I can tell you if they're a demon, though.
Wait, maybe I can do that. Hold on a second.
And I'll step back and get a bigger scope of everything around.
Holy shit. You can do that.
You may want to come closer, though.
All right, so it says until the end of your next turn, you know the location of any spell or magic item that isn't behind total cover. All right, let me double check the notes here.
Basically like a big burst of detect magic, but just one quick burst.
Right, so from where you're currently standing, Serena, 60 feet away from you, you do not detect any spells or magic items unless they're on your allies.
Doesn't seem like they're enchanted.
And the vines we're talking about are where exactly?
So as you look towards the ground, you can see them kind of, they're worked around the dead trees here. As you look to the south, then you can see that there are still more vines in the actual still standing trees. And again, Dean would probably recognize this more than the rest of you. It seems like more vines than you would expect in a typical forest of this type. So vines, tend to grow almost anywhere they can, but the accumulation of them here seems quite a lot. And in typical kind of nature areas, vines oftentimes will wrap around trees and sort of kill them over time because the vine is like choosing, it's just for surviving, right? Like a natural kind of occurrence. That's kind of seems like what is going on here. At least in this immediate vicinity, you get like a strange feeling about this though, Dean, as though there's like more than meets the eye.
Yeah, no doubt. So I know plant growth. Is there a way the spell it's known and to me always? Is there a way for me to like uh, sense if this is a result of that spell?
You can make a blind check. This would essentially be Arcana to see if you can recognize the events or any kind of magical. No, you don't see anything that indicates to you that that spell was cast here. You're not sure.
Adam,
Looks.
go ahead.
So Foots will just quickly take his short sword and like chop some of the vines at his feet.
Okay, yeah, you kind of stab into the vines. They look, the ones in this area look pretty desiccated, like dried out. They've been severed from their stems that were in the ground somewhere along the lines, and yeah, they look dead.
Okay.
Adam, this area here, can you give me a description of what I'm seeing? I mean, it just looks different than everything going on around us, and then I don't
Yeah.
quite know what this thing is right here.
So that is a little bit of a hill of dirt. So it looks like this has been collected here. What you're looking at is turned over ground, and this is like as though maybe somebody used a shovel perhaps and dug this area up and then turned the bits of grass and so forth upside down, or at least that's the top layer. So you're seeing essentially worked ground.
Can I can I come over to it and do I see like maybe this is where these loggers got built? I mean, buried. Like any bones, or maybe if I dig a little hole or anything, can I uncover a little bit? I don't know if I brought my shovel with me. No, I have it unchecked, so I must have left it back at the castle. But I'll turn around. Has anybody got a shovel? Anyone?
Nope. No.
How about a shipwrecker?
suppose that will work, Serena, but do you want to come and swing it? Because it's still heavy for me. But this dirt looks turned over and worked. I'm thinking we might find some bodies here.
Yeah, I'll start digging them up. Why not? I've already desiccated my friend's corpse.
All right, Serena, I'm putting you on the turn dirt here, and I'm assuming you're spending some time now. Again, without a shovel, you're using shipwrecker, doing what you can, but this is pretty intensive work, right? So it's going to take some time.
I
Okay.
wasn't talking like digging a full-on hole, but like removing a good little portion in an area, maybe like a foot or two, just to see what's.
Oh no,
Is
we
that
gotta
gonna-
get to the bottom of this.
All right.
All
Well, while
right.
she does that, Celine, Dian says that this was vines that up and attacked people. There's no magic around. Have you ever heard of trees or anything similar like that? I've never heard of anything like that. Can trees be awakened?
I don't know if the wizard knows that, but the player knows that. But also, Dean, how did you say? What exactly did you see in your
I turn
vision
back and
conversation?
I turn back and yell 60 feet away. What I saw was the loggers were coming down to the south and were chopping down the trees, and then the vines like attacked him with like a spear or something.
As your shout rings out in that direction, Dean, both you and Blixel notice like a reverberation of the vines to your south and southwest.
Wow.
They're moving.
Yeah, let's take a step back, Blixel. A little further back. Come on. Let's get back where the dead ones are.
I'm not me, Vines. I ain't afraid of you.
Uh, you can't beat nature, my friend.
You don't think so? Looks like they're doing it right here.
No, they lost.
Yeah, I see hundreds of downed trees, only 11 loggers.
Man, this is amazing. Is the land fighting back?
Yeah. Did the traveling merchant come out here and find the bodies?
Well,
Well,
that's what it says in the report.
are we sure it's this site exactly? But I mean, from what you described, the injuries sound um, like they match. It
Yeah,
would
Yeah.
it would make sense why they were pierced with something and then arrows couldn't be found if it was a similar width or depth or whatever.
Hey, Adam, can I look for remnants of those spears that I had a vision of in this area where I'm standing, or let me move closer to here?
You can, but again, just to make sure you're picturing the same thing I'm describing, it's not an actual spear. So if you think of vines, how they tend to coil and they wrap around things, imagine if a vine was perfectly straight, right? So it shot out perfectly straight and it had sort of an edge to it. That's what I mean when I say spear.
Okay, then I'm looking for a perfectly straight vine that I would know is indifferent from normal vine behavior.
Sure, yeah, go ahead and throw a blind check there, Dean.
Well, once it does its thing, it probably goes limp, right?
We're going to snip that, make sure that part is. All right, you spent some time looking around, Dean, seeing if you find anything along those lines of what you envisioned, and no, you don't see anything like that in this area.
Hmm.
All right, so you've spent a few minutes at this point, Serena. You've dug up maybe 2 feet down or so forth. You don't see anything different except more turned dirt.
Seems pretty deep. Could be grave. Do we need to dig up the bodies if we already know what happened?
I don't even know if the bodies were here. Seems like they maybe got moved. if the merchant found them. Why is the guild covering this up?
Adam, one more thing. I'd like to. I'm doing a lot of checks here because I feel like I'm being a druid right now. Okay. These felled trees that I'm at. Can I like flex them and see how long they've been alive by bending them, and if they're really brittle, that might give me some estimate.
Yeah.
When the last time these trees have been chopped down, I guess.
Okay, so you're trying to gauge how long ago they were cut.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and give me a blind check. I would say based on your knowledge of nature, you would assume that these trees were cut down maybe 2-3 weeks ago, something like that. Hard to say exactly.
Ah, well, it still fits the timeline. This is the spot, boys and girls.
Well,
That's
two
what I'm
things
saying.
that concern me. First, if this is a grave here, although we would have to dig a little further to prove it, which I don't mind doing, I'll help you. But nevertheless, why are they burying their workers in an unmarked grave? How dishonorable. And,
Because druids came here, defended the forest, and killed the loggers. You're onto something, Lord.
and this, I kind of like open my eyes and like give the look like, no, that's not what I was thinking. But the second thing is, well, let's think about this logically. If it killed 11 of them, was it all in one fell swoop?
Then,
Right? Like all 11?
as you're saying this to your teammates, you catch a glimpse of movement to the southwest. You see a figure that looks vaguely humanoid, seemingly swinging on vines from the southwest and moving from west to east.
Oi, right there. I'll draw my bow.
Hello?
Hey, I saw you. Show your face. You can tell that we're not the same as what did the harm to your forest. Come here.
Blixel puts his hands up and he exaggeratedly goes, "Friends!"
There is no response to either of your entreaties.
Did you point him out, Ben? I'm looking now, Adam, up in the trees. Do I see anything?
You do not. You
And
see a
like
lot of
this
trees, a
direction.
lot of vines. You don't see any figure like Vin's talking about.
I'm going to take the bow and put it back onto my back and kind of like walk past Blixo and say, all right, well, just trust me here. And I'm going to walk into the forest a little bit. And I'm going to oh,
All right,
put my hands up.
as you walk that close into the forest, you realize now as you get to that point, there's a little bit of movement. This figure that you had previously seen, and then obviously as you're kind of walking, you lose sight of it. You realize now that it is literally right above your head. And I'm going to go ahead and put us into turn order. All right, so Blixel, you notice as Vin kind of charges on into the forest here. Well, who am I missing? Did I not? I didn't get D in one moment.
Ian
I
has
wouldn't say
apparently
charged.
disappeared from
He
the
walked
entire
in
map.
with his hands up, right? He walked
Dean,
in with his hands up.
Dean, did you delete your token?
Did he disconnect, maybe?
No, he's still there, it looks like. Brian. Oh!
All right, I'm not sure what happened, but yes, I see that it did roll for him, so I'm guessing he had a tech issue, maybe?
He was swallowed by a shadow rift. It happens.
Yeah, shadow portals happen every day.
Also, I just want to clarify. Vin did no such charging. He
Well,
calmly walked
I'm using descriptive words when I say charge, because based on how much you moved in a short period of time, you couldn't have been like slowly stepping, right? So not that you were like, or anything like that, but you moved at a pretty quick pace to enter the forest. So with that in mind, Blixel, you notice as Vin quickly enters the forest, we'll say, and I will say you see him pause quickly and he kind of like looks up, and that's the moment your turn starts.
Okay. Not hearing a scream or anything like that, Blixel will slowly also begin moving closer, still having his hands up. And token lock is on.
Well, my bad. There you are.
And he'll just move in. Friends, we love the forest.
Convincing.
And then he gives Vin a good thumbs up. And that's the end of his turn.
All right. Before Serena's turn, the creature above your head, Vin, is suddenly visible to you as it moves down. It doesn't actually climb or anything like that. You notice that there are vines growing off of it, and it's almost as though these vines are directing its movement, moving it downwards. You get your first good glimpse at it. All right, and from there, you notice as it kind of moves down fairly quickly towards you, it is now 5 feet above your head, and you can see it motions with its hand, and the vines that are...
Card.
I'm sorry?
Right when it starts coming down on top of me, I'm going to play my card.
Okay, sure, yeah, go ahead and throw your card up.
It's someone you met before at a bar.
No, it's Swarm of Beetles.
Okay,
And
from a
like
suitable location.
Yeah, from the tree that he's on, like it just swarms out and like consumes him.
Well, keep in mind, you don't get to direct what the beetles do. You just get to pick where they're coming from. So suitable
they're
location.
coming directly out from right where he's at. Like they're coming out of the tree right where he's at.
Now you have 2 opponents instead of 1.
Okay, so I will add a swarm of beetles, which suddenly is on the same tree for ease of use. I'm going to put this just south of him. And we will add them to initiative. Okay, so as he is making his way down, and suddenly these beetles to come out of the trunk of the tree, he doesn't seem like he pays this much mind, or maybe he hasn't noticed it. It's hard to say. But when he's 5 feet above your head, he is going to motion with his hand as the vine seems to form into a piercing-like appendage and strikes out at you. I'll need 2 defense rolls to start.
Dean, you got one of those speak with plant spells?
Well, it's not going to matter now. He's attacking us.
Well, maybe you could still maybe talk to him. I don't know.
You are struck twice here, Vin. Whoop, that posted to GM. One moment. All right, so here's the 2 damaging strikes. All right, that's going to be 20 points of piercing damage. Then you notice the vines sort of by his feet form these tendrils, and they reach out to grasp at you. And Blixel, one of them also grasps at you. So I'll need a defense roll first from Vin.
Okay. And I'm not pinging any of those things off this creature, right? It's probably like a plant
You
creature.
are not, no. All right, you do manage to evade those tendrils, Vin. Blixel, how about you?
Defense.
Yes, you managed to evade them as well. There is some more movement to your west, Blixel, as you notice a second one of these creatures moving through the treetops, and it makes its way down to being just above Vin as before. And once it gets to here, very similarly, Vin, you find yourself being trying to be pierced a couple of times. I'll need 2 more defense rolls.
They see my hands are up in the air, right?
You're not even sure if they see, period. The 2 of these vine spears do indeed strike you. That'll be 14 points of damage that time. And then you notice once again, those tendrils come out reaching for you, and same towards you, Blixel.
I'm going to use my inspiration.
Okay. Blixel, you are struck. All right, so we're going to take an
Add a
8.
hero point.
All right, that makes it a total of a 19. Let me double check real quick. No, you are still struck here, Vin. So both of you are struck by the tendrils. So Vin, this is yours first. That's going to be 7 slashing damage and 5 poison damage. And then for you, Blixel, 9 slashing, 3 poison. So as all these vines around you seem almost as they are like animated at this point, striking out at you guys and damaging you. As this occurs, after all of this is going on, you actually hear a word seemingly being emitted from the one to the west. And surprisingly, it's actually in common, and it says, "Go." Serena, your turn.
I look up at him and say, "Fuck you, I'm going to kill you now, bastard."
They're not friendly.
Who hears the word go? All of us or just one person?
Vin and Blixel.
From your angle, you just watched them stab me 5 times.
They want us out of here.
I say we come in peace.
Kill him, Serena!
They don't care.
Why are we fighting them?
They just
Are we
stabbed me
gonna
17 times!
I don't want to fight them.
Just drag me out of here. Or drag Ben out of here.
Sorry, I'm counting. Oh, I got lots of movement. All right. Vin's health. How does he look?
Pretty badly hurt.
I will. Oh, I can see it now. Okay. No one wants to share what they heard. Okay. All right. In that case, I will stab
Well,
out at
when
the
you
one
come
next
up,
to
you see
him.
that, yeah, when you come into the fray, you see that they have stabbed me and Blixel multiple times.
Yes. And if I had just one more piece of information, I would know what would be the best next step. But since I don't, I will stab at the person in front of me. Humanoid.
All right, and
Or
remind
I
me
guess swing. I'm gonna
what is
rage
your...
first. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Remind me, what is your speed, Serena?
40.
Okay, so I feel like you spent about 50 to get there. Am I wrong?
G here.
Oh, that's where you were. Okay, my bad. So, yep, yeah, you're good there.
Okay, thanks. All right.
All right, so the bolt of light from your chest, which creature would you like to select? Okay, and let's see. Did we build that in for you as a spell effect?
I don't think I've ever gotten this one before.
All right, so I know I've built this. I feel like I built this in, and then we talk, and then I don't remember where it's at on your sheet. So for this one, this is going to be equivalent of con. So just throw me a Constitution save, and we're going to call that your effect roll for this. Yes, it is not affected.
Okay, I'm going to swing at it.
You miss.
And extra attack.
That one will connect. All right, you pierce into the creature, cutting open a small wound in what would approximately be like a thigh in comparison to a typical humanoid, and have wounded it.
All right. I think that's going to do it.
All right, Saline.
Well, Saline sees that her friends are being attacked and doesn't really want to fight the forest people, but feels like defending them is what she should be doing. But also, throwing out fire bolts into the middle of the forest is probably going to really piss them off. So, on a quick look at my feet, do I see any vines nearby me, or am I out in the open?
You don't see any real close to you, no.
Okay. Then he's gonna have significant cover, right? Because there's like a bunch of trees in my way, and then
Yes.
Okay. So then we're gonna try Sacred Flame instead on the one that is right next to Vin there.
Okay.
Oops, I need to spell effect roll. Probably not.
No, it is not affected.
And then I will call out, Dean, get him out of there. And then I guess I'm okay here. I'm still within range if I need to do anything. So that was a warning shot. I'll pass it back.
All right, Ben, your turn.
All right. Vin is going to pull his dagger out from his hilt, and as he draws it, it begins to ignite, and he's going to invoke the Ankara flame on it.
Have you spent a hero point?
I did. I used one on that last turn where I took 32 attacks.
Okay, excellent. So now you can use that special reaction if you happen to hit.
I'm going to attack the one that she just attacked with Shipwrecker, and then I'm going to try to spin around and stab the other one as well. So I'll start with this one to my left.
Okay. That is going to miss.
All right, and as I propel myself around after taking the swipe across his abdomen, I'm going to try to just go in for a full thrust on this one with the beetles down to the south.
That'll connect. Nice. Okay. So go ahead and post your damage. Okay, so your max damage on the dagger is 7. Your max sneak attack is 12. So that's 19. And then max on the flame is 12, is 31. And then we will take what you actually rolled. So 43 plus 6, 49.
Eastus.
Yeah, I got 49 out of that.
I'm going to trust your math, boss man, and then I'm going to roll that minor injury with disadvantage.
I will also mention that you notice that the fire is particularly effective against this creature.
So one's an injured leg, one's an injured arm. I don't know which one would be the disadvantage one there. Maybe the.
I'll let you pick. Which one would you like to apply?
Let's go with the leg. Because
Okay.
I mean, if he's above me in the tree, it makes sense that he would bring the dagger down into like his thigh. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, but with fancy footwork, it says during your turn, if you make a melee attack against a creature, that creature can't make opportunity attacks against you for the rest of your turn. So I made 2 attacks against 2 different creatures. Neither one of them should be able to make opportunity attacks based on that, right?
You got it right.
All right, so I will use my speed and say, burn them up! Come back out here and catch my breath a little bit, and actually we'll take a cunning action to dash too, and I'll come over this way a little bit.
Okay, Dian.
Move over here, and I will say, "As you wish, my lord." This I'm gonna the wounded guy. I'm gonna hit him with a produce flame. A button.
All right, you try to aim at this guy through all of the trees and so forth in that direction, but you miss.
Move 5 feet of movement. 10, 15, 20.
I feel like produce flames range is real short too, isn't it? 30
like,
feet. Okay, yeah, I think
yeah,
you're
I was
probably
good.
there.
I was checking it.
Okay, Swarm of Beetles' turn. All right, so Vin, please roll me a 1d10. All right, you notice the beetles on the tree do indeed seem to start attacking this creature.
The forest is fighting them. If the forest hates them, so do we.
And that seems to connect. Biting into the creature. All right, Blixel.
They told me to go, so I'm getting out of here. Get out of here, Cerilia. I'll get to here, and
So that you just moved there, right?
yes.
Okay, so as you leave the reach of the creature, it is going to try to strike you with a tendril, so please give me a defense roll.
Okay. Sorry. For full disclosure, I couldn't even see that creature from where I was,
Yep.
token-wise.
Yep, yeah, no worries. It's got reach too, so. Yes, this will indeed strike you.
You told me to go!
Slashing into you, 6 slashing and 5 poison damage.
You know what? Screw you! You look like you haven't had a drink of water in years, you dry piece of crap. Yes, vicious mockery, huh?
Man, okay.
Now, you did say go.
Yeah, what I'm trying to figure out here is these creatures are actually immune to being deafened. And I think that's because they don't actually hear, or at least hear as in typical fashion. So I think they wouldn't be affected by this. So hang on one sec.
It doesn't say it needs to understand it.
It says have to hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to go with, because I don't think they can hear you, so it's going to have no effect.
All right, Serena, get out of there.
All right, at this one's turn, Serena, you're going to notice as the vines that make up of its body, you see like little flowering starts to occur. You get the impression as though its wounds are healing, like knitting up. It then is going to assault this swarm of beetles. All right, it's going to strike the swarm of beetles twice. And then the tendril is also going to stretch out there towards the beetles. But the tendril does not connect. Okay, and it is also going to attack you as well, Serena, with a tendril. So defense roll, please. You manage to evade it as the tendril tries to slash at your ankles. This one by you as well, Serena. You're going to notice similarly as its wounds heal. It is then going to send a tendril towards the swarm of beetles. Connecting. And destroying the swarm of beetles. Then it is going to shoot 2 vine spears at you, Serena. I'll need 2 defense rolls. The first one connects, dealing 5 damage to you since you're raging. And another defense roll, Serena. This one will connect as well for 5 more points of damage. Once again, now the first time, Serena, you hear the word go. Serena, your turn.
Serena is going to say, "We're on your side," and then disengage.
Okay, so you action disengage. Anything else on your turn, Serena?
I was just double checking my bonus actions. I don't think so.
All right, so your turn ends, and you were attacked last turn, so rage is still up for now. Saline.
Well, everyone's fallen back, so what do we do? Are we running?
No, we're killing these motherfuckers.
We're running! Run!
I will try to split the difference, I guess, following both instructions as best I can, and I will try to firebolt the one I can kind of see. I know it's going to have significant cover from me, but
Okay.
so we will try that.
That'll
Gonna
miss
miss.
widely.
And then I will start falling back because that's what it looks like most of the team wants to do. So 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. And I'll wait to see if the team follows me.
Hey, Vin, your turn.
Vin is going to sheath his dagger, step over to this side, and draw his bow, and he's going to take a shot at this one here.
So sheath would be interact with object. Drawing a bow would also be interact with object. You can drop your dagger if you wish to do that.
Sure.
Yes, that will connect. All right, and then so that's a true crit, so we'll take those damages. So that's 6 points of damage. And the creature suffers 1 point of piercing damage at the start of each of its turns.
And then we'll move back.
Okay, Dean.
Okay. Hold up. I'm gonna move 10 to here. On occupied space I can see within 30 feet.
Okay.
I'm going to do my fiery spirit and put my fire lion there. I do that. In my Do I just burn it? I don't have it on my sheet, I guess. I'll just burn that wild shape thing. Okay.
Yep, yeah, you can do that. All right,
Okay.
so that's your action to conjure it.
Yep, and then when it appears, they need to make some saves.
Okay, so go ahead and post 2 spell effect rolls. All right, neither of those will be successful. So let's see, I don't think, is it half? No, so they take no damage from that.
Okay, and then I'm going to move. I moved 10, so I'm going to go 30. And then I'm going to end my turn. And then it is going to do the fiery teleport.
All right, so go ahead and throw 2 more spell effect rolls. Yes, they will both be affected this time and both get burned.
And 15 feet from it that I can see is going to be here.
Okay. Blixel, your turn.
I think they come with me, right?
I'm sorry?
It's willing creatures.
Oh. Oh, okay. Then yeah, sorry. I'm just gonna go 5 feet then. I'm sorry.
That would be too OP if you could do that, because you could just teleport
that
them
would.
off a cliff.
Yeah, it sure would.
All right. Blixel is going to look down there and be like, man, nature just doesn't get me, man. And he's going to cast Fairy Fire using the racial ability down there.
All right, yeah, feel free to use Smart AoE for that one.
Actually, let me double check. Yeah, so technically, I guess I don't remember if I used it last fight. Did I use Fairy Fire last fight? Does anyone remember?
Against the
I don't
thing?
recall. Against the
Shadow
Naga.
I don't
No,
think
you
did.
you did slow. You did.
Oh, slow. Okay.
There was another one you did. I think it was like Dissonant Whispers or something. And then, but most of the time you were getting fucked up and had to heal yourself.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so sorry. I just wanted to make sure, because I only get it once per long rest to do it. So I'm going to use Fairy Fire and cast it down there. Yeah, and I'll just do it right there. Is the dog or the lion still there, or that got teleported down? Right?
He might still be there.
Didn't he teleport away, though?
He did, but he chose to only go 5 feet once he realized he couldn't take enemies with him.
Oh, okay. All right, well, Your lion is going to get terrified.
Okay, so the lion is affected, but the two opponents are not.
Damn. Now you can see your lion real clearly there. And he's going to move away. Yeah, I think we found the things that killed the loggers.
All right, start of this one's turn. Its wounds regenerate. It is then going to attack the fiery spirit 3 times, 2 vine spears and 1 tendril. 3 NPC defense rolls for the lion, please. The lion is hit 3 times. Is the lion... I'm assuming the lion is probably immune to poison, right?
Immunity, damage immunity is fire.
Oh, okay, so he is affected. But all right, so let's see. That's 19 and 12 is 31, so he goes poof.
Okay.
All right, and then you are going to notice some movement from the creature. Looks like it's moving maybe a bit hamperedly. All right, this one will take 1 point of damage from the previous critical hit, but its wounds then also start to repair. And it will move as well. Serena.
Sorry about that. Okay. I don't have good visibility. Can anybody see what direction they're going?
One's going east, one's going west. Doesn't look like they're coming towards us.
I'm going to hold an action to throw a javelin at anything that attacks Vin.
All right, so I'm going to assume then you take 1 hand off Shipwrecker, you interact with the object to draw a javelin in hand, and then you're ready to throw the javelin if anything attacks Vin.
That's correct.
All right.
Yes.
All right, as your turn ends, your rage will now end since you didn't take any damage or attack. And Saline.
I don't see anything either, so I will keep backing off a little. Well, let me measure. Do not broadcast to others. Yeah, we got good range. So I will continue to back off, maybe like 15, and then I will ready a firebolt if I see a hostile creature, or if a creature makes a hostile act against one of my teammates. Does that work?
Sure, yeah, that works. Okay, Vin.
Vin's turn is simple. He's just going to go back, pick up that dagger that he dropped, and then make his way back. Using his cunning action, he'll get some space between them.
Okay, Dian.
Okay, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And I will dash and go there.
All right, so based on timing here, it looks like everybody's kind of backing off. Blixel, are you doing the same?
Yeah. If they look like they're not moving closer to us, so yeah, folks will keep moving out of the stumps. They'll sort of grab Vin by the arm and be like, listen, we can go back and get them now that we know that they're there, but right now, it's better to move out.
All right, as you guys get away from where the trees actually are here and kind of back off a bit, you notice the creatures seem to meld into the forest once again. As they're swinging about, you're not able to keep eyes on them for long.
Adam, can I check my wounds to see, well, two things. First, where I took that poison damage, I just want to make sure that like I'm not infected with anything, like if there's like any kind of gross ass things attached to me. And then second, I want to see if the wounds from getting stabbed with that thing looks like being pierced by an arrow.
Okay, sure. Give me a blind check.
And I help him check himself over. Is it like a medicine thing?
Yep, it is. Vin, are you proficient in medicine?
No, I think like I'll start to like kind of like begin to do it, and Celine will catch me about halfway through and stop me and do it herself.
Okay, so blind check.
Yes. Yes, I would say based on the type of wound that this is, it very much lines up with a piercing type of attack. You haven't seen these bodies that were in the briefing, but based on what you're seeing here, this very well could be it. And I'm sorry, what was the other part of what you were asking for, Ben?
I got slapped with some poison damage, and Vin just inherently, anytime he gets hit with poison, he just wants to make sure he's not poisoned by anything.
Okay, so you express this concern to Saline, and Saline, you don't see any kind of indications that Vin is poisoned.
Any kind of other things like any like leftover like vine gunk components like hooks or anything that's stuck
Like
in his flesh?
sap.
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's certainly like a bit of greenery and so forth where the attack occurred, but based on what you rolled, nothing that looks harmful or anything.
Okay. Maybe just brush
We
it off.
need we need to
some dirt
start
on it.
having some allies. These people are against the guild, or
I don't know if we could
whatever
call
they
these
are.
people.
I don't know if they're against the guild, but they are killing humans or attacking humanoids.
They're against the same thing that you're against, Ian.
No, I agree.
The
I was thinking,
exploitation of this beautiful country.
the same thing, but they went after us pretty hard. They were not wanting to parlay.
Yeah, we can't know that that's their lofty goals. Maybe they just want to save this one particular area where they live by killing the things.
Yeah.
May
Nature
I
of this
all
country is desperate to do
nature,
anything.
nature kicks ass. Have I seen these before, Adam, or heard about it in rumors of living in Riverford?
Blind checked Ian.
I'll help him.
May I remind you all that loggers themselves, the ones cutting and working all day, are not the ones who are evil with evil intent like those who run the guild. They are still citizens of Cariele, and having them die indiscriminately is unacceptable.
I did not know that until you said that.
So is the indiscriminate slaughter of the beautiful places of this country.
Aye,
You've
we all agree on that.
Ian, you've kind of heard of something called a vine lord before, and based on what you saw, how this creature moves, its mastery of using the vines and the tendrils, it lines up, but you don't recall any specific details or any strengths, weaknesses, or anything like that. You just think they're probably called vine lords.
I'll share that with the group. I've heard rumors of a Vine Lord. I've never heard of him before. Specifically, I should say.
What are they the lord of?
The vines?
Oh, the vine boat.
I don't know. I don't know. Do I know anything about the Vine Lord, Adam?
The Vine Lord? No, you don't think there is a person called Vine Lord, but you've heard of creatures in the past that have referred to as Vine Lords, and based on what you'd heard and then what you just experienced, those two things are like connected in your mind. But that's based on your role, that's all you know or connect.
Okay.
As the military leader of this country, we need to start getting some allies, and ones that do that kind of piercing and poison damage would be great.
I don't think they had ears. They couldn't understand me when I was talking.
I don't think they're
No.
terribly concerned with the politics of Cariele. I think they just want to defend their little grove here. I don't know how useful allies they would be unless we leave them alone, you know. I don't know if they're gonna march to our command or anything.
I think we need somebody that can cast friends to join us in the future.
Friends? I've heard about that spell. It makes people really mad at you after you cast it. I heard about a couple bards that tried to use it.
Well, they're mad at us anyway.
Dean, I saw you talking to that tree. Do you have a way to speak with plants?
I do. I was planning to, but then our Lord got attacked, and that seemed to be out the window. I think it's too late now to start a conversation. They didn't seem like they wanted to talk. What did you have in mind?
Well, I mean, you guys are talking about making allies with these things. The first step is being able to communicate. So,
Yes, assuming that they actually are plants, I can speak with plants. Yes, I can.
Well, at least we know that we.
Got that visual for you. Just wanted to throw it up so you guys have a better idea of what you were just seeing.
it's definitely a plant. There's no genitalia. Well, is there a logging camp somewhere nearby? The guild outpost?
We saw no buildings when we looked around, according to our DM.
Well, this is just the site that they were working at. Is there like a permanent settlement? Like Darwin had a camp with walls.
Yeah.
I'm sure they weren't just harvesting right there, right? They probably went out.
Yeah. Is there any sort of like tracks of like a trail or something where they would like bring the logs to a certain place?
Ooh, good idea. Serena, want some help looking for those tracks?
No
Sure.
trackers.
Yep, yeah, you guys can throw a blind check.
Celine, you think you could give me a little bit of healing? Just a smidge.
Yeah, probably good if you don't pass out on our walk back or anything. So I will cast Healing Word at first level on my boy.
Blix will cast Cure Wounds on himself.
And I did update the modifier, so this is the correct number now.
Okay, so as you spend some time there, Serena, and with assistance from Dian, trying to find out any tracks or anything like that that could lead you back, yeah, it is not particularly difficult to find. So you can see that there was a lot of foot traffic in this area, people moving back and forth, you presume actually like cutting down trees. But you can see more deep ruts. You get the impression of like wagons or carts, perhaps, that lead off to the east.
Well,
Right
there
this
we go.
way.
Okay, Blix will flips off the forest as he leaves.
You know, the next person that speaks to that tree, that's the vision they're going to give.
I
Good.
don't think that's a common thing. You're the first person I've seen that can talk to a tree.
Just a vision, really.
All right, so it sounds like you guys want to follow those tracks and see where they lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys travel along these tracks following them. They're not particularly difficult to follow because of the deep rut of the carts and so forth. You spend maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, somewhere in that realm before you find yourself on the outskirts of what indeed looks like a logging camp.
Right. Ben, are you going to let him know that you're in charge?
Why don't we pretend to be adventurers for now, unless they recognize us?
Dad, I am an adventurer.
Do we get fake names?
Oh, can I be Steve?
Now it's getting complicated.
Well, first of all, let's temper our anger at the guild. I feel like after our last encounter there, some of you have some heightened frustrations that we should not express here and now.
Who has heightened expressions against the guild in the last 5 minutes?
When we were just attacked by those vine things.
Not the guild's fault.
Just saying, this is not the moment for us to have any outburst against them. We're only here to get information.
Hey, if you're cool with them, I'm fine being cool with them. Figured with your brother, it might be a little hot under the collar, but obviously these aren't the same people.
The plan is bigger than just 1 or 2 occurrences in 1 or 2 logging camps. If we're going to change the way things are, it doesn't happen overnight.
We have a plan?
No, we don't. Except
Really?
don't burn it down, which, of course, no one here would just burn down a logging village.
It's not what I implied.
I
I
don't
only
think
said
we're
temper
ready
your
for.
frustrations.
I think we
Yes, sir.
should make a plan at some point.
Vin looks over his shoulder as he begins to cross that rickety bridge there and says, "Who says I'm already not?"
All right, as you're getting that close to the logging camp, you hear a couple of like shouts out of like approaching, approaching, and you see a couple people kind of start looking your direction, and you notice one man in particular kind of steps out front, and you see he eyes you as you're kind of starting to cross that rickety bridge and puts his hand up in a stopping gesture. Who goes there? What is your business? State your business.
We're here to see the supervisor, I guess you could call it. Logging camp aficionado.
That's me. Yes, what do you need?
A place to sit, to be honest. I was stabbed recently.
You see he kind of looks at you, narrows his eyes a little bit, and he says, I'm afraid we don't have much in the way of hospitality here, especially to strangers, but I could see if there's anything we can put together. Why don't you exit the bridge back the way you came, and I'll let you know when we're ready for you.
Turn around and look at the rest of the party.
Just tell him you're the regent and you would like to have a seat.
I kind of smile at my chief counselor and then turn and look back at him and say, "Before I agree to anything, sir, can I at least get your name?"
The name's Lehman Happer.
"Mr. Happer, are you familiar with the change of regency in Cariele?"
I've heard some things, yes?
"It's nice to meet you officially."
And you are?
"Count Viorvan Gladnil. And I'd like to sit down, please. Like I said, I've been stabbed."
Apologies, Count, but we were informed that you would not be interfering in our affairs in any way. I'm very surprised to see that you are here. As I said, just give me a moment. You notice some people kind of scurrying behind him, and he flicks his finger, and you see one of them kind of comes over, and he leans in to speak into that one's ear, and you see that person then looks up and looks at you guys, looks back towards him, and nods and kind of scurries off.
We're passing through.
Where's that guy going?
You notice Lehman looks back towards you and he says, this event of your arrival here is just a bit surprising to us. We did not expect you to be here. As I mentioned, we were told that you would not be coming and dealing in our affairs in any way. So this has taken us by a bit of surprise. We're not set up here to receive lords and counts and so forth. Very simple people with jobs to do, you understand?
The region is injured. We simply need a place to sit. We're not intending to interfere at all. And in
We don't
fact,
care about the state of your camp.
in fact, the guild has already been notified that we would be in the area.
There has been no notice given to me that you would be arriving here. As I said, we don't have much in the way of comforts here. I might suggest if you just turn back around, you'll find a nice area in the woods there that you can sit down comfortably. So find yourself something, maybe a stump or something like that.
Wait, are you denying us entry?
And is there any reason for it?
This is guild business, and your business does not involve the guild, Count. So, yes, we would prefer it that you stay on that side of the bridge.
Oh, so there is a line, I whispered of in.
They're
I
hiding
see.
something.
Well,
Sus.
on our way here, we encountered something. It's mysterious, to say the least. Mr. Leonard, were your people attacked by vine creatures?
No, we have had no attacks here, no.
I see. We were investigating the death of 11 people who were mysteriously pierced. We had reports. We gave the report to our guild representative, and we found no pushback from them about coming to look into it. We are not investigating you, sir. We just want to know why the deaths of Carolinians are happening. Just like you, we have jobs to do, and that's to protect our citizens, which include you, sir.
The guild protects its own, as you should be already aware of. I don't know about these people that were killed that you're talking about. There's nothing, no information here that can help you. You say you have a guild representative. I work through that person. Then you're way over my head as far as the kind of stuff we ever have to deal with here. All I was told and informed is that you would never be coming here, so we didn't have to worry about you. So now that you're here, you see, it's caused a bit of a flummox situation.
Why would you be worried about the count passing through?
This is guild business, ma'am. So nobody should be passing through here except members of the guild.
There's still
Can
the
I look
law of the
past him?
land.
Adam, looking past him, how? Because if it's a logging camp, based on the last camp we were in, there was 30, 40 people there, and it was obvious to us. We could see movement and walking, and there's no palisades around this one. So can we see people in the logging camp? Does it look like people are moving about?
Some, but I would say based on numbers, this is must be a much smaller camp than the previous one that you were at. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be like much in the way of defenses here. On like a cursory look around, you might notice occasionally like axes leaned up against the building or spears that you presume that's what they use for defenses when needed. But yeah, it looks like a much smaller camp than your previous experience.
Mr. Lehman, I understand, and obviously we do not want to interfere with your business or cause any frustrations between the two. How about you bring us out some water and maybe something to eat, since we were just attacked, and we'll be on our way across the bridge and away from you, if that is okay.
Yes, Count. I think we can arrange some small amount of food and water. Just as I said, stay on that side of the bridge. I'll make arrangements here, and we'll have something sent over for you.
I'm gonna turn and kind of walk back towards Dean and kind of whisper into his ear, and I'm just gonna say, "Is there any way that you can get in that camp without being seen, sir?"
Yeah, there is. Um, just compromise, my liege. I had no idea this was the line that the guild draws, so we learned something valuable today. Um, Yeah, I could change into something more feral, but maybe a lizard or something like that. But if I get attacked, I'm going to appear as Dean.
It sounds like there's a lot of birds about, so maybe stick to the trees and don't risk anything. But if we can get a look inside, it's obvious they're hiding something.
I,
How about,
I could do something to force their hand.
well, why don't we save that for plan B, huh?
Well, what if one of those creatures were to appear on the other side of this bridge, threatening us? We would need to get into camp, right?
I don't know if we want to cause any kind of ripple, but it seems to me that they're hiding something. So let's go with subterfuge for now.
So I'll lean in closer to Vin's ear, like I don't want anyone else to know, and I'll say, I'm only a level 5 druid. I can't fly yet.
Can you swim? Looks like it's along the water. Maybe something that does both.
Or a cat. Are there cats around? Maybe they'll attack the cat.
Spider.
No, spider's too slow.
And I've thought about this, and I've always kind of wondered because it's my first druid, but I can't just change into like a mosquito or not a mosquito, but even like a little worm, right, Adam? Like it's got to be an actual something from the monster manual or something.
So, I mean, it's kind of open ended. That's a good question that I don't think is necessarily answered necessarily in the rules. I think the default answer would be it has to be a monster stat block that shows up in the books. But I'm okay if you want to say like you're turning into something reasonable, though. Like if you say, I want to turn into a flea, no, because like that's so hard to manage, right? But yeah,
you wouldn't be able to see anything as a flea anyway.
Well, you get what I'm saying. Like some people have tried to turn into something that's so small that no one would be able to see it, but then they think they can see. But if you're wanting to turn into some kind of random CR0, bug or something like that, I guess what I would say is it has to be large enough that it would classify as tiny and not like something smaller than tiny.
Yeah, and I want to be able to have good vision in my form. So yeah, I can't imagine a spider can't see, 100 feet away. I don't know, maybe they can, but
They have 30 feet.
If
but
cats
people
don't
kill
have dark
spiders.
vision in 5e, then I think spiders can see 30 feet.
People kill spiders, don't they? Yeah, I could do that. Take it. It'll be an. How long can I do it? Is it an hour or a proficiency bonus time?
I believe it's half your level in hours.
Oh, okay.
I'll say, how about while I wait for our food and water, the rest of you go back onto the other side of the bridge and maybe use that opportunity to change.
Okay. Now for clarification, Adam, I'm not a giant spider. It'd be a normal spider.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah. I'm going to do druid things today, so I'll hide away in the group and maybe just suddenly disappear. Should I go now?
Time it based on like when he's coming to give me food or something.
Yeah, I think the rest of us should move far enough away so they don't see you
Yeah.
changing. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely go to the other side of the bridge, but maybe if there's like bushes or trees or something, we can sort of move around.
Permission to stay with you, Count.
That's fine with me.
All right, so I will just find a place, Adam, that's protected, and I will wild shape.
All right, so you're turning into a spider, and again, based on tiny size, think of this as like a huntsman spider, I think is what they're called. So probably about the size of a fully extended hand, human hand, right? So you got like the center, and then the legs would be like the fingers. So you're about hand size, if that makes sense.
Okay, sounds good.
Shit.
Good. That's a big spider, bro.
Yeah,
I
well,
I was
was
thinking
thinking
you
like
like hitch
half
a ride on the
dollar
guy's pant
max,
leg or something.
So that's kind of what I mean. Like if you were to say like, oh, I want to turn into a house spider, right? Like super small. No, it's not in the stat block, so it's like you have to like do a lot of guesswork at that point, and then then you're basically in a quote unquote invisible because no one's going to look at a house spider and be like, oh, So I don't think that's the intent of what it's used for, right? So that's why I say it would have to be at least tiny size. So when you think tiny, like a fox is tiny or a cat is tiny. So I'm letting you be even a little bit smaller than that, but not so small that you're like a house spider.
Is there a stat block I can Google?
Yeah, just don't get too close, bro. If I saw a spider that big, I'm smacking it.
Yeah,
I
I
don't care
know.
where I'm at.
I'm not. I'm gonna go on the outskirts, bite these rocks at them, and kind of head that way, and
So
use
I
my
would
spidey
say
sense and
this
stuff.
would fall under the spider stat block. So not giant spider. It's the spider that's a tiny beast. You will find it. It's literally just called spider.
All right.
And that's in the compendium. Like I can drag a sheet over for if you need it. But yeah,
No, I have it up.
Okay, perfect.
And
One
as
hit points, boys.
as you go by me, I go, do you want to be even sneakier?
And he
nod
can't
my-
respond.
I can I hear him, but I nod my head.
But, I mean,
Yeah, do
How
do
does
you
the
wave,
spider
do you
nod
wave-
its
do you-
head?
Do you wave your arms?
Yeah,
Up and down.
I do it like, yes,
Clicks
give it
his
to me.
pinchers.
I was going to say, if you said you bounced up and down, I'd give it to you. But not a head as spider.
One
I
leg
guess
for
it doesn't.
one
I
leg
guess
up for yes,
invisibility
one
on him.
for no.
Oh, nice.
All right, and again, I'm assuming you've done this a distance away from the bridge, right?
Yeah, we moved away and possibly behind some trees and bushes that are on the other side.
Okay, all right. So you are now a spider, and a little bit of time has passed. It does indeed look like there is a runner that was speaking with Lehman, and then looks like he's making his way over towards you, holding on to like a box that you presume that there is food and water in. He's kind of approaching the edge. He's looking at you. Give me an idea, Dean, what you're hoping to do here. You're invisible. Are you just trying to like scurry across the bridge? Like, what are you intending to do?
Yeah, so if I'm invisible, I'm going to quickly take advantage of this and go along the buildings and see if I can find the head building area and see if it's just a normal logging camp and if I can, since I'm invisible, I'll find a way into where the leader is and see if I can see what's going on in that room.
Okay, so what I will say is the leader, assuming Lehman is the leader like he said he was, he's still outside. His eyes are very much focused on your group, and now Vin, if Vin's the only one standing there, and the rest of everybody sort of backed off a bit as the supplies are kind of coming across.
Me and Serena.
Okay, you and
Serena
Serena.
and I, by the way. Yep, just so you're aware.
It looks like somebody wants
I'm
to.
playing my card.
All right.
Oh yeah.
And which object are you picking?
The box that's carrying the supplies is going to break, so they gotta redo it.
All right, fair enough. So as the young man is kind of walking across the bridge with the box here, yeah, you notice like the side of it kind of suddenly gives out, and sure enough, the box breaks. He kind of trips, it slips on the ground. You notice that there are like some rolled up pieces of bread and such that kind of go scattering, fall into the water. There's a pitcher of water that kind of breaks here on the bridge, and you notice Lehman kind of, his face goes red as he's looking down at this young man. He looks quite angry. The young man kind of gets back up, and you see Lehman looks at him and he says, "Go get something else." And sure enough, the young man kind of runs back off to the other side.
Great use of the car.
Is
Oh,
Lehman
No, don't say that.
So
is Lehman still on the bridge?
So Lehman has never been on the bridge. So imagine Lehman is kind of standing like here-ish. So he was shouting out to you guys, right? And he's this whole time, you get the impression almost of like a sentry. He wants to make sure you're not going somewhere he can't see, okay? So he's watching you guys very closely. So as you, Spider, kind of cross the bridge and you're making your way, starting to go into some of these different buildings, I will say you don't notice anything of too much consequence at first. Again, you get the impression it's very much like a logging camp. However, once you get into one of the buildings near the back, I will say you do notice a couple of what you presume to be loggers, and they are standing in front of another figure, almost like shielding this figure with their bodies. And you can hear them saying, one of them says, I'm sure he'll send them away pretty soon. Just we want to make sure you're not spotted. And you hear just like a voice, not even really a voice, almost just like a tapping of nails on the table.
Oh, interesting. I might linger there for a while and hide up, like tuck in some corner of the log so no one tries to kill me, and look for a nice egress or escape.
So is it your intention to try to actually get a line of sight to this person, or are you being extra careful?
You're an invisible spider, bro.
Yeah, I know.
How long do we think this has been, Adam?
Not too long, maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, I wanna see who this person is, Adam.
All right, so as you go scurrying across the surface or the ceiling of the building here, trying to get an angle where you can see whoever it is that they're like kind of trying to block, go ahead and give me a blind check. I'm going to make this a stealth roll. You have advantage from being invisible. We'll just see if any possible way somebody notices something maybe a little bit off.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, the spider has stealth +4, just heads up.
All right, yeah, you don't believe so. So as you kind of make your way slowly across, and little bit by little bit is revealed of this figure behind the other two, the first thing you notice is fiery red hair. The next thing you notice is some kind of almost crown in its appearance, but it really is more of like an antlered helmet. And as you finally get a full view, you see this individual. You don't recognize this person, but based on the way that the individuals here are sort of blocking them, you get the impression this person's someone significant. All right, so I'm going to reveal that to you and reveal that to our recording. And I think that time, folks, is a good time to go ahead and take our 15-minute break.
Oh, man, we don't get to see.
All right, see everybody on the other side in 15. All right, folks, we are back in the second half of our session. Let's get us back over to where we left off. Okay, so Dean has just infiltrated one of these log cabins and has just spotted this individual. Dean, is there anything in particular you're doing after spotting this individual?
Yeah, some things came to mind as I was feeding horses. One thing, I'd like to get a sense of the demeanor. Is she in charge? Does seem like she's the boss? And then two, I want to wait around for a name, and I don't know I'll be likely to do that. So I'm willing to spend at least 15 more minutes waiting for that to happen.
All right, let's leave it to chance. Roll me a d20, and we'll see if you can get the demeanor, first of all. So this is going to be, okay. Give me a blind check then.
Oh, that's not good. Did I fall off the roof?
So because they're quiet, right? Like they're, other than this little brief bit of conversation they had when you were kind of just getting there, there's not a whole lot of talk going on. They're literally like trying to block anybody that would like walk through the door from seeing her, but they're not really talking to her. She's kind of sitting there. I would say you get the impression almost of like an annoyed expression on her face more than anything else, but she's just kind of tapping her nails on the table like, all right, she's ready for this to be over. That takes you a few minutes for you to learn that amount of information.
And then, since I'm studying her, do I see a component pouch? Do I see arcane focus? Does she have a battle axe?
She does not have an arcane focus upon her. On the table that she's sitting on, you do see a longbow. And it looks like it is of particularly good make, I will say. You also notice strapped to her side is a short sword. She looks like she is wearing what you presume to be some kind of hide armor that's reinforced with metal plates. So a bit of a mix almost between cultures, you could say. between like the Enwerian style and the Reuric style. It sort of it gives you the indication almost of like what they would call improved male, as a term that you might have heard in the past. As far as anything else noticeable, I would say nothing else sticks out to you at this point.
Except that she's not a druid, according to Raw. Okay. Then I'd like to wait around and, what's like a few minutes, so I'll do another 15 on top of that, so 20 top. I want to sit there 20 minutes tops to see if I can get a name or any other occurrence that's happening. Maybe Leon comes back or whatever.
All right, fair enough. So you're waiting around there, just seeing, vaguely have an idea of time, and you're trying to make sure you don't let too much time pass by at this point. So back on the bridge side, eventually that young man does return with a new box, and you can see he's holding it almost like he's holding a baby, like from underneath, and he's grasping it like with all the care in the world. And you notice Lehman looking towards him, still clearly not pleased with this turn of events. But the young man makes his way to the bridge and kind of walks across it a bit. And you notice, Vin, as you're standing like a little bit before the bridge, he actually sets the box down like right past the bridge. So still probably 10 feet away from you. And then he, without saying anything, he just kind of turns and quickly saunters back across the bridge.
Wait. Young man, wait.
He does
Now
not.
go and
He does not wait. Like he books it. You notice Lehman from across the way here. He kind of like holds his hand up again as the young man's kind of running back, and he says, "That should suffice, my lord. That is what we can offer you at this time. It's not much. Again, we have men here that we have to make sure have the food and water that they need. So you'll accept our apologies for this sparse offering."
No problem there, Lehman. But you understand, as Count, I've got to make reports of everything that I do. So when I talk to my guild representative, what should I say happened here? You denied us entry and we agreed?
You can say whatever you want. This is guild business, and I'm assuming that your guild rep's going to tell you the same thing, that you're supposed to stay out of guild business. That's what we've been told, and we've been told that not to expect you here at all. So maybe first tell him why you came here and work those details out between you all.
Oh, if that's the case, actually, the guild representative was quite happy that we came to investigate these matters. In fact, they hadn't heard about it at all. I remember very specifically them taking intense notes about the information that we parlayed to them.
Whatever
If
you're
I may,
investigating has nothing to do with here. Yes, ma'am?
you may be used to the Count's predecessor who has a certain expectation of pomp and circumstance, and that is not the case with Count Gladnell. We appreciate these supplies. Uh, he is not, he does not need a bunch of pomp and circumstance. So he just needs to recover from his injuries, and we appreciate that. And he's passing through the country that he is Count of.
I understand that, ma'am, and I appreciate his lack of need for pomp and circumstance because we have little of that to offer out here, as you can imagine. This is a simple logging camp, so we got hardworking men, and we were just trying to get through the day and do what we can. There's not a whole lot of luxury here. I understand that you're looking for a place to rest, but I was told that you would not be coming here. So you have to understand, if I let you in, then I have to answer to my superiors. And I would just say that my superiors are quite strict on enforcing the rules.
The only other thing I want to add is please tell your men to avoid the vines. They're quite dangerous.
Avoid the vines. Okay, yeah, I will certainly tell them that, ma'am.
Well, if that's
Can,
all, Lehman, I'm going to
can
take
I
these supplies here and go back across the bridge.
can I roll like an insight check? Like, is this guy seriously acting like he doesn't know what is actively killing multiple people that pass through very close by here?
Give me a blind check, Serena, to see if you detect any kind of deception or anything else from him. Oh, actually, you'll have to drag your token onto the screen, Serena, so that you have that to click and use a blind check.
Is it possible for me to also do the same? Like, can I similarly discern or help her in any way? Can we?
No, you can't really help, and since you're grabbing the
Yeah, I'm an
supplies and are
insight.
kind of making your way back, no. I mean, you don't really know. He's at a distance. He's shouting. You guys are shouting back and forth. It's hard to read body language. You don't know this guy, so no, you don't really pick anything up one way or the other, Serena.
I'm gonna help Vin limp back to the forest.
All right, and Vin, you will notice that the box is very sparse, like they said. There is a pitcher of water. You imagine there's probably not more than, say, 20 ounces of water in this pitcher. And then there's like three crusts of bread. And then you can see that there is a chunk of cheese that's been wrapped up.
Grilled cheeses? How's that sound,
Prisoner
Vin?
special.
I can get down with a grilled cheese.
All right, as you guys are making your way back to the tree line, we'll go back inside to Dian spider form. So you're still waiting around here. Dian, throw me another D20. Okay, so the amount of time that you wanted to spend here was 20 minutes tops. So you wait around here for an additional 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, then 15 minutes. No further conversation has occurred here. This woman certainly seems like she's annoyed. I would say this annoying posture seems to grow. At one point in time, you actually see her like lean back in her chair, so she's balancing on the back two legs and kicks up her booted feet up onto the table and kind of rocks back and forth just with her balance.
I'm gonna move closer to the window or an exit a little bit, and then I will wait another 5 minutes.
All right. So, yes, essentially you're getting close to that 20-minute mark. You would know, like, internal clock in your head, and nothing else has been revealed from your presence here.
All right, I'm going to crawl down along the floor and make my way on the sides of the buildings back towards the bridge.
All right. And yeah, because you're both invisible and a spider, you have no problem at all doing that. Make your way back across the bridge and back out to the forest where you eventually can spot your companions. Takes you quite a bit longer to get there, of course, because you're small or tiny even. So, getting that way takes you a bit of time. I would say altogether, guys, it's been like 30 minutes since you last saw Dian. You're, maybe handing around the bread or deciding if you want to do a campfire to try to grill some of this. But yeah, at that point, Dian, I would say you see the group, 20 feet away from you by the time you crawl up, past the next tree.
All right, I'm gonna climb into the basket and start walking away with a big chunk of bread.
Okay, so you climb into the basket, try to grab a crust of bread.
What the?
Is he still invisible?
They tried to give us magic bread.
Firebolt it.
It's moving on its own.
And
Wait,
then
Dean, is that you?
Is he
And
still
I'll-
invisible?
He is
Yes, I am.
invisible.
Yeah, but there's a piece of floating bread.
Well, objects worn or carried by you also become invisible. So
I
Oh.
don't think it's new things though. Like when it's on your body, it's invisible. But if you're invisible and then you pick something new up, that doesn't become invisible.
Well, as a spider, you can imagine, would try to do, I want to throw the bread at Vin.
Yeah, that doesn't work well at all. So you just see the bread kind of gets lifted and then drops in what might have been a push. You don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick it up and then act like I'm about to baseball throw it at him and just say, ah. What did you find out, Dean?
And you'll feel a little creepy crawl up your leg that you don't see.
But if
Climb
you
up.
don't stop messing around, I will stab you.
I don't know if I could break invisibility. It's up to
If
Blixel.
I think if you do any kind of action, so if you morph back, I think it'd drop your invisibility.
All right.
I'm pretty sure if you bite him, that would make it.
It's
Cast
an
an attack
attack,
roll.
you attack or you cast a spell.
Or Blixel drops it. Okay, so I will.
Do you
I
still
can't
have like
drop-
one hit point then?
I can't drop it because I don't know what if he's still in there.
Yeah, I know you're not gonna drop it. That's smart. I will just appear suddenly in the group.
Still in my lap. Yo!
No, yeah, nope, not in your lap, but in the like standing around. And I think that might drop invisibility. I don't know.
If all you're doing is retaking your normal form, that wouldn't. But I would say there's probably a change in the sound. Like if someone just suddenly popped into existence, I get the feeling there'd be some kind of an audible association with that. So I would say they certainly hear the sound real close by.
So then I'll say out loud, they're meeting with somebody.
Blixel jumps.
Oh shit!
Oh, I forgot. I'm invisible. This is really cool. It's me, Ian.
Who are they meeting with? Voice.
Drop the invisibility.
Yeah,
No,
what
no.
are we doing here? I don't know where
I
he's
need to
sending.
see who I'm talking.
Don't do it, Blixel. This is too much fun.
Okay.
I'll flip you a copper coin that just you can't see because it was on my person when I turned invisible, and it kind of lands in your lap. You wonder what it is.
So basically, how that would work is like it's on your finger. As soon as you flick it and it leaves your body, it becomes visible. So then it would float, and he'd be like, "Whoa, there's a coin."
Okay, you get a
Blixel
copper coin.
opens his pouch and it falls in there.
There's this.
Oh, I tried to catch it, but I fell.
There's this really hot redhead in there with metal armor and a bow, a really nice bow, a sword on her side. She's very frustrated with our presence. It seems like, I don't know, like they're waiting on her, not waiting on her, but she's frustrated with our presence here and they're hoping that we go away. I don't think she looks like someone's might be in charge.
She looks like an elf.
She's Rjurik.
Ryurik.
Rjurik.
Sounds like a someone who may be happy to see a fellow Reuven. Was she wearing any kind of headpieces or jewelry or symbols or holy marks or anything?
I saw nothing significant in that matter. She didn't seem like a spellcaster to me. She had a headband that's silver, or I don't know, not silver, metal, and some horns on the side of her head. That's not hers, that's part of the headband. She's 5'9", 165 pounds, so she could pack a punch probably, is what I'm guessing.
You got all this by looking at her from a spider?
Well, I was there for 20 minutes, and I couldn't keep my 8 eyes off of her, I can tell you the truth.
How much do I weigh?
You weigh 210 pounds.
Wrong.
195?
I think Blixel is probably more.
I don't want to play this game
40
anymore.
range.
I want to play this game.
Well, that doesn't sound good. I mean, you say that there was people outside protecting her,
Yeah, shielding.
like she was under guard.
No, she's not under guard. She looked like she was in charge. Her feet were on the table. She was impatiently waiting for us to leave. So if what's 100% true, they're shielding us from her or her from us, trying to keep her secret. That was the secret, my lord.
Who runs Roselle? Anybody know?
I'm sure
Drozone?
Selena has read that book.
Rosone?
Drozone has
Oh,
the Baroness.
Yeah.
Isn't it pronounced Rosone? I thought for
No.
some reason it was.
Rosone is actually a completely different land that you guys actually were in for Scarlet Citadel, Blix. But the country to your north, even though it has DH, that is pronounced with a T, so it's Thosone is the domain to your north.
Oh, okay. I knew it was something weird like that. And that's where Vin's uncle theoretically went.
That is correct.
Yes. And the regent of Thosone is a half-elf, I believe. The sister or half-sister to the Prince of Torhiaville, where she was bound per the information we gathered to discuss financing their military. I don't think it would be
But
her.
that couldn't be her. She would be with large company.
It's a thought, though.
None of you know of any leaders that look like this?
She had green eyes. Fascinating green eyes.
None of this rings a bell, right? We've never.
All right, we get it, Dean. You like her.
Yeah. The next step, if you like a girl, I know you're married and you have a kid and everything, but you got to get their name.
I waited, and to be honest, it took a while, but frustrations grew. Maybe if Lehman was relieved of his duty and walked in, or if I stayed there longer, but I wasn't going to stay past 30 minutes of a 1 hour spell. What if I get trapped somewhere?
Frustrations grew, as in she was antsy to get out or something.
Well, frustrated. I think that she was meeting with Lehman maybe, and he had to deal with this, and they were still talking, but it seemed like she was in charge. Like the people around her were loggers, as best that I could tell. They weren't like bodyguards.
Lehman did not strike me as a man who was in charge of anything. He perhaps was maybe like a captain or something, but he did not strike me as a man of authority, outside of the look he gave that young man who dropped the box. But the impression I got from him, obvious, was that he was hiding something, because we spoke to, what was his name? Possible? What was our guild rep's name? Herniel?
The kid?
Yes, the guy we
I just call him the
talked to.
kid.
It was
Well, the
Parniel.
kid, Parniel, he did not make the same kind of grandstand about us coming out here, right?
Oh.
Interfering with guild business. He did not even mention it.
Well,
He
clearly
was-
he just didn't want us to see this lady. I think we need to ask for a description of all leaders of surrounding areas, just in
No.
case she matches the description.
That'll help. But here's the thing: if she's antsy, she wants to get whatever business she has done here, right? And then she
leave.
wants to leave. So we just wait for someone to leave.
Well, we all can't just turn invisible like you.
No, but I can, right? Can you make me invisible? I can go in there, maybe set something on fire, force a little bit of
Well,
confusion.
I like the idea of
that
us
seems
just
like an
waiting.
insane escalation.
Let's just wait. Let's just wait.
Well, hang on.
You're gonna get caught setting the guild logging camp on fire, Vin.
Not if I'm invisible. That's not that I have to attack somebody, you said, or cast a spell. I can't do the second one, and me taking a torch and pushing it against a tent, it's not attacking anyone.
You don't
It's
think
just
they're gonna
setting
put
something
two
on
and two
fire.
together?
Let's just wait. This is the spy mission, even though we don't have our
Yeah.
spy mister with us.
You're in charge of the country now.
Oh, yes, but we
You
all
can't
know
be
that the only
caught
reason
at
Pavard
setting a
is the
place on
spy master
fire.
is because I'm the regent. We all know that I'm sneakier than him. I've been doing it my whole life.
We
Give
gotta
me a
leave you in the
shot.
castle.
Yeah,
My lord,
bring a new
my-
lieutenant next time.
My lord, we are literally across the river. If this were to happen, it'd easily be deduced that we had a hand in it.
Okay, so maybe I won't start any fires, but at least turn me invisible and let me go get a good idea of who they look like and what they're doing, because they think we've left. This could be the time to get the best information.
I
Let's
can't
just
do
wait
the
for her to
invisible
leave.
thing again.
Oh, now you say it.
I mean,
Well,
I
that's what's up.
could, but then I wouldn't be able to do much else. The cloak only lasts for a minute.
Why don't we just wait for her to leave, and then we can all look at her?
She may never leave, though. I mean, we're expecting her to march out of camp, right? What they're doing is a secret operation of some sort, or they're covering something up. We don't know that she's a visitor. She could be the culprit.
Do you suspect that she's from
Culprit of what?
Storyville?
No, Ryuven would not, unfortunately, would not cohort with elves on a matter of statesmanship, and I don't think the elves would intercept them. I mean, Ryuven are far, far north, right?
Mm-hmm.
Across the
Yes.
Telforth.
Is there no Ryuven country like nearby that far north?
No, they are very far north. They're on the other side of the Telforth. My
Is,
mother coming this far south was rare in its own behalf.
So just to give you guys a bit of an idea, Thosone is the northernmost remnants of the Anwirian Empire. North or northeast of Thosone is Ryuvan lands. So yes, far north, that's true, but it's not like thousands of miles away or anything. But you see how big Thosone is, but past Thosone is where the Ryuvan lands are.
So she would
I
not have
thought it was
traveled
even
to.
further.
She would not have traveled to Toryville. She would go through Thosone.
This is a human,
So just to give
right?
you
I
guys,
mean,
again, quick idea, notice where Thosone is on this map. If you look north of Thosone, you'll see Stjorvik, and then to the northeast of that's the Giant Downs. Those are both Ryuvan lands, and Ryuvan lands continue further to the north.
and are Ryuvens different than boss
Yes.
people?
Yes, Ryuvans you can think of as being very much nature associated people. They are probably, I'm trying to think of the best analog for that. So I would say when you think of Voss, they're more thought of as like primitive barbaric individuals. They come from far to the northeast of the entire continent. So you remember, this is a very, very large land. So let me do this real quick to give you an idea. All right, so this is the whole big map, and if we scroll out, what you'll notice is this one's a little bit hard to read just because of the massive scale of it. But this, let me go ahead and do the pointer. So this is the remnants of the Anwirian Empire. Here's Tailfirth. So Cariele is like here-ish, right? And then all of this area up here is Ryuvan lands. The Voss come from all the way over here. So the Voss come from very far away. So Ryuvan lands here, and Wirian's here. The Brecks are along this coast. The Kanasi down this way. So yeah, all up here is Ryuvan.
Okay. So they're like Canadians. They like
Yeah.
a lot of trees.
Yeah, that's a interesting way of looking at it. But yeah, I feel like I'd have to look it up because each one of these cultures has sort of like a real world analog, but it's not exact. It's just kind of implied. Like the Anwirians are supposed to be pseudo Romans, and the Brecht are like German Italians. I forget the exact for the Ryurik, but it's very much a nature love. Probably Celts. Someone might have already said that. I think it might be Celts.
Yeah, with the redhead, one of them are redheads, right?
That yes, the Ryuvan has the most prominence of red hair. Yes.
She definitely had red hair, Serena, and green eyes. If you watch the YouTube playback, you'll see a picture of her, I'm sure. Or I can draw one real quick.
Yeah, I want to see that drawing.
I'm not going to be able to do that.
we have to think of this on two playing fields. And Adam, while we're chilling and talking,
Shit, I have
I've
red
done
hair.
a short rest also.
All right, so I would say it's only been about probably 20 minutes since you collected the package and walked back. So yeah, we can assume you started it about then. Got to wait 40 more minutes for the short rest to complete.
Maybe it was you in there.
Well, we have to think
Don't
about
think
this
that's
on
the case.
I wish I had a bow like that.
The first case is, I mean, it's obvious that they were the ones that were logging over there. I mean, it took us an hour to get here.
We also
Right, so-
followed a trail, right?
right
From
here,
there to
exactly.
here.
So it's obvious that those people that you saw, or that person particularly, at least one that was killed in that vision you had, Dean. I mean, it's obvious that they're covering up the deaths of those people. For what reason, we don't know. And then the second thing is, well, who is this mysterious woman? It's not Miele, right? And Darwin was never that secretive when we met him, nor was Riot when we met him.
That was before you were the count. And possible direct opposition to the guild and what they're doing.
Yes, but what? Hear me out. What if this is not guild sanctioned? What if the guild
Go
does
on.
not know also? Right?
Yes, I see what you're going. That's what I like about you, Lord Vin. Am I still invisible for another 10 minutes or so? That's awesome.
I don't. Did Blixel ever end it? I thought he did, but I could be wrong.
No, Blitz
No.
was like, nope, not gonna end it.
Then
He asked
yeah.
me not to, so I'm gonna let his freak fly.
Let
I
the
got-
level 2 spell slot, man. You let that go for an hour. Why be visible when you could be invisible, Adam?
I could
All
have
right,
put my
that
hand
works.
on Ian's shoulder and miss, and just kind of play it off as me adjusting my cloak and say, well, think about it. I mean, they are super, super restrictive about us going in. It's obvious not to see that woman, but if the guild didn't want our help investigating, they would have stopped us at the castle.
Would
No,
they?
it-
He didn't know
Maybe.
anything about it.
Yeah, that guy was traveling for a while, so it's possible he
But
didn't
as
really
the person,
know.
Also, they
person who
sent
was,
us very clearly someone who doesn't know shit.
Yeah,
what
thank you,
we,
Cerilia. He sent
that's
us a
the
boy.
impression that he gave. That's the impression he gave, and it could have been purposeful. Do not discredit someone's age for their responsibilities. I'm only 23.
They don't want
I
us
rule
to
the
know
country.
anything.
Yeah, but
Yes.
we know you don't know shit.
Yeah, and that's how kings go. They're always at what 13 years old when they become a king.
Yes, we understand, but just hear me out for 2 seconds, please.
Some people become king at 8.
Thank you, Serena.
Miele, when we made our deal, we were told to not get involved influencing their business, right? We don't want to negatively impact guild business, not to pass laws or decrees or do anything that negatively harms what they're doing. That does not mean that we cannot help them defend themselves if they're being attacked by foreign powers. And I believe, honestly, that the guild would want that. Because if we are invaded, they are invaded. It does not just stop with us. If these goblins in Murderot or Doom's Peak decide to come into our lands, do you think they will be indiscriminate between guild and civilians? I don't think so.
So you make a fair point, my lord, that the Miele might not even know that there's something nefarious going on in this specific logging camp with this redheaded girl. Um, uh, and I agree that that is definitely a point of order. And also, the goblins attacking, they would ask for our assistance. It would put us into a negotiating hand. So I think we've gained a lot of information here to keep to our close to our vest.
I think we need to find out who this lady is.
That's why I say turn me invisible. I have the crystal anyways. If something bad goes, so be it. I'll just beat you back to the castle.
But then the
And
Count of Cariele will be found literally meddling in guild business, my lord.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let you out of my sight there, buddy boy.
It's only if I get caught.
I can go back. I mean, we could do the whole thing
Very-
again.
Our
I don't
track
know if
record's
I've
pretty
ever been
bad.
caught.
What's that?
I've never
We've
been
been
caught. I don't get caught in these situations. It's what I'm good at.
My lord, it's.
If you think I'm going to go in there and cause enough of a disturbance where
no.
I show myself off to everyone in the camp, then you're mistaken.
No, I don't think that.
If you were to put a number on your stealth, what would it be like?
My stealth is +9.
Can we make sure that you're healed before you attempt to do anything stealthy?
But may I remind you, my lord, that even though you're invisible, you're still rolling with advantage, which means if you still roll a 1 or a 2, you could possibly be detected and you'd have to be in a escape situation. But
Aye. And let me remind you of the time that we infiltrated Moriad's little cabin, and the time that I distracted him with a motherfucking apple. Right? I know what I'm doing.
well, my lord, your word is our command. If I had a short rest, I can go back into my little spider form, and Blixel could put me invisible, and I will try to do better next time. But if
Here,
not,
how about this? How about this? How about this? You come with me. Turn into your spider form. I'll go invisible. We'll both go. You won't be invisible, so you'll have to be extra sneaky, but you'll be there to bail me out if anything goes wrong. And you allow me an opportunity to get in there. Now that they think we've left, and if we give it the rest of this hour or so, we should be able to get great intel.
All right. Once you're in there, what's your plan to get information?
I'm
Because
gonna steal some shit.
Dean was
Second
already
best
in
thing I'm
there.
good at. Yes, as a spider with no hands.
and with one poor D20 roll.
Okay, you think there's stuff to steal in there? Dean, you saw stuff to steal that might tell him something?
I heard nothing in the description of the room I was at where anything was enticing to steal.
I heard about that longbow.
Well, of course, that is very beautiful.
I think they'd notice.
Yes, but
They
there's
might.
got to be. There could be papers. There could be letters. I mean, it's worth a shot. And if anything, I could hear better conversation now that we've left and they think we've passed. Especially if
Adam.
we move a little further away.
Hey Adam, real quick as we're talking, you described Leon as someone who is like a sentry. Is he still looking at us from the river?
So I'm assuming you guys are backed away from the camp where you're no
Yeah.
longer within line of
Yes.
sight. Right. So
Okay.
no, you don't see him any longer.
Okay.
All right. If you want to do this, I'm all for it. It makes for a better story, whether you get caught or not.
Wait, then who's second in charge if he dies?
I think we have a vote, right?
I mean, I think it's me. Because I have the power military.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, as long as they're not me, I'm good.
If
Are
I
you going
die,
to go
then
in
I
there
just
with him?
I reappear, by the way. Right? I don't
Till
actually
Tabbert
die. Just a reminder.
stabs me in my sleep.
Yeah, they might have to stab you twice if they catch you. All right.
Wait,
Come over here.
wait. I can't go again. He looks down sheepishly. I can only do it twice per short rest.
It's a
Sorry,
common
guys.
problem.
It happens to a lot of druids your age.
I need a moment of refractory if I can.
What got into you guys tonight?
All right. Do you guys
They put
want to?
any orange juice in that care package?
I'm drinking water tonight, guys.
You want to rest before we do this, or what? Well, let's find a place out of the way.
No,
where
it's a whole hour. They're gonna be gone. If Ben wants to go, pop him now.
They might not be gone. Thinks they're going to stay there forever.
Dude, she was ready to leave.
Well,
Was she
think
ready
it
to
was
leave,
more
or was
that-
she just upset that she couldn't do
I
anything?
think she was
until
ready
they
for
left?
us to leave. I think that's what the impression that I was getting.
well, that's why I'm saying we rest in a hidden place along the trail where she might need to go, and that way, if she leaves while we're resting, we see her.
Did we see any other trails out of the village, or no?
You guys didn't particularly look for any. It looks like there's kind of one main entryway across the bridge. There might be others on the other side. And again, just to clarify, this river is like a small stream offshoot of the main Rude River. So it's not as though the camp itself is past the river. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, but she's not going to be allowed.
Otherwise, they'd be up in.
Right, they'd be
she'd
in Querhill.
Yeah, she's not going to go in there, so we just need to go up the river a little bit if she's going to use the river to leave.
Well, it's a stream, he said.
Oh, yeah.
It's a small river, yeah. Small offshoot of the main river.
We just wait. We just move off the main trail. We wait that hour. We keep eyes on that bridge, and enough where we're not easily seen out in the open, but enough where we can still see. And then we'll commence Operation Sneaky.
A just decision, my liege.
And look, I don't have a card anymore, so I definitely can't do nothing too crazy, like summon a shadow portal.
No shadow portal.
Yeah.
Wait, you've been summoning those?
Dylan has, yes.
Blixel draws his blade.
Somehow I knew he was at fault here.
I will do. I'll go with that plan, and I'll burn a short rest to get my wild shapes back.
Yes. I would like to find a place back away from the main trail, but within some trees and shrubbery so we can sort of conceal ourselves for us to rest.
Well, I'm sure Serena and I, with our survival, I got a +8, and we can do this.
All right, so I'm assuming now you guys are a good at least half a mile away from the camp, right? Like you're backing up enough, trying to then find somewhere to just kind of rest for 40 minutes or so to complete a short rest.
Also, I'm going to find a ring in the bottom of my knapsack, and I'm going to use it.
I wouldn't want to go a full half mile away if not necessary.
So give me an idea of how far you're thinking.
Yeah, like 500 feet, maybe, like maybe even less than that, like 350, right? But we plan on being quiet and just keeping eyes on. We want to make the idea, Adam, is that we want to make sure no one leaves the camp while we're resting.
That we don't notice.
Okay, but you're focusing your efforts on the one entrance, obviously, that you are aware of, which is the one bridge across the street, across the small river.
Yes, because we didn't see any other pathways out, right? From what we saw.
Not from that side, no.
Makes logical sense that if they were detaining her, it wouldn't make sense that she would go out another exit. If she could, she just would have, right?
Yeah. I don't think they're detaining her. I think she's like a ambassador or trying to make a deal or something.
Well, yeah, what I mean is they're holding her away from us so that we don't see her.
Yeah.
Adam, I will say that Vin will separate himself a little bit further. I guess we could say north, but he'll get to a point where he's like within the tree line looking across the river, and he's gonna look the back way. He's gonna cover the backside when he's looking out. He'll go farther up if he needs to, but he's just gonna sit and wait and relax and drink a little whiskey while he recovers some HP.
So again,
from Serena.
So again, I just want to clarify here. You guys said back away 500 feet. Now I'm hearing split up. Then you're trying to go more of a north direction and try to have eyes on the northwest side of the camp. So if anybody was moving past the small river, you would be able to spot them. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, Vin specifically. Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, in terms of distance, I don't have a general idea what you want in terms of distance, Adam. But he's going to be in the tree line where he's not just like standing there awkwardly staring out of the trees, of course. But he wants to be able to look through and have eyes on the back end of the camp. And then in terms of the rest of the party, I don't know where they're looking, but my guess is they're covering the bridge.
All right, so again,
goes with him.
I just want to remind you guys about the time frame here, right? So you guys whacked away. You guys spent several minutes, maybe 10, 15, discussing here what exactly your plans were, what you were going to do. Then you said, oh, let's move south. Then you're saying, oh, let's move north. So some time has obviously passed here. Those of you that started your short rest, are you guys staying here? You're like south, and then Vin and Serena are going north. Is that the plan? We're having basically like a split party at this point?
I don't want a split party.
Yeah, I'm taking a rest. So if they're moving away at that point, I'm just gonna let them go.
All right. So assume we have two positions. One is what I'm going to call 500 feet away from the camp. All right, and right now we've got Blixel there, Saline, and Dian, and it sounds like Serena and Vin are making their way north, walking through the woods, trying to not be seen, right? Because you want to make sure anybody that's on the logging camp side isn't just going to look and go, oh, they're right there, right? So you're trying to like move slowly through the woods, cautiously, then find a spot where you can get a line through the woods, so you have eyes on the camp, but also try not to be spotted yourself. So for that, I'm going to ask for Vin and for Blixel to throw me blind checks. Or I'm sorry, not Blixel. Vin and Serena.
I feel like this is taken way out of context. Like I don't think this is some secret subterfuge mission. This is us just making sure that no one's going to wrap around our backside at them. So it's not like we're going to be traipsing through the woods all sneaky and then laying on our bellies and staring out. Like that's not the plan.
You said you want to have eyes on the backside of the camp, right? So that means you would have to go to your north a distance in order to have eyes on the backside of the camp.
That's fine. Going north is not the problem, but I feel like the way you described us traipsing through the woods and then, like sounds like...
Are you trying to remain undetected, or do you not care if they see you?
No, we want to be undetected, but I don't think that we're going to be in any kind of, like, we're not in any kind of seeable location unless they walk right up to us.
If you have eyes on the camp, meaning there's some kind of a line between all the trees, right, that goes from your spot to the camp, then there's at least some chance that somebody in the camp can also see you, right? So unless you're saying you don't want to have eyes on the camp, then yeah, they wouldn't have eyes on you either because there's so many trees, right? But the impression I got from you is you're trying to basically scout the northern side of the camp, of the logging camp, and make sure that nobody's going in a direction other than across the bridge.
That's where the disconnect is. I didn't say I want to watch the camp. I'm going to watch the way when the camp ends, anything beyond that. So we're past the camp, right? We're not in line with the camp. We're past it to make sure no one leaves out the back. So it's not like they can just look across the river and see us because we've gone past the camp to make sure no one walks out the backside of it.
Okay.
Does that make more sense?
Yes, but you're still going, right? So like if you can't see the camp, you're walking to the north, you're trying to gauge where you're going. But I think I've got enough. So yeah, go ahead and give me a blind check. Okay, so you guys make your way through the woods. The other three of you guys are staying here. Again, you're a distance away, about 500 feet from the camp. The other two are basically cutting north and trying to get past the camp and then watch the exit to the north. Do I have everything correct? Is there anybody that's doing something other than what was just described? Okay, perfect. So, yeah, the two of you guys make your way north. You get to the other side. Once you kind of, again, trying to make sure you're not being spotted, you're on the, through the trees. You then get to a spot where you're thinking, okay, you must have gone far enough north now that the camp is ended. So now you're kind of trying to move through so you can get eyes in that location. What I will say is once you get to pushing through, you do, even before you can see anything, you can hear some sound. It actually sounds like like horse feet. Horse beats, right? Like a horse.
Trampling.
Yes. There's a better term, but I can't think of it. But yes, you hear the sound of a horse, I will say, moving. Hoofbeats. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Yes, you hear the sound of hoofbeats off to your north.
Yeah, I think I would, before we get too close to getting out of the tree line, I think I would like put my hand back for Serena and like get real low. And I don't know how far away we are from like the tree line to like outside of the tree line, but is there any vision? Is it thick or is it loose, or could you kind of give us an idea?
Yeah, it's kind of sparsely wooded here, so there's a lot of layers of trees between you and what we'll call the backside of the camp. So right now, I'm assuming you're just starting to push through some of those layers to get visibility when you hear the sound of the hoofbeats.
Okay, can I I see Serena whisper she'll stay hidden. Can I like get on my belly and kind of do like a crawl forward, just like slowly and carefully, but try to stay low to the earth.
Yes.
And get to where I can see something passing.
Yes. Okay, so you start crawling forward, and I'd say as you do, you realize just based on the sound that the hoofbeats are moving away. So it sounds like hoofbeats moving to the north, not approaching you.
Okay. Ah, fuck it. I will get up out of my position and get myself right to the edge of the tree line so I can look and see if I can. I want to make sure I put eyes on the horses.
Okay, yeah, and based on the sound, it sounds like it might just be a horse. So yeah, you start pushing through the woods, Serena then following behind you. I will say once you push out of this side of the tree line, you notice that the like northern exit of the camp is like 200 feet south of you at this point. And you notice to the north there is like a dust trail. You get the impression that very likely a horse rider has rode this path and gone north past you.
All right, I'll dip back into, and I'm assuming you're talking. Hang on, we're talking like, if this is the tree line, they're going this way.
Yeah, essentially. Yep. So basically, you think the horse is kind of riding in this direction. You guys have broken through like this. You're looking at the camp that way, and you believe the horse has rode that way.
Okay, I'll
It's
look back
probably
at Serena.
her. Let's go follow her.
Not without everyone else, Serena. But we know that she's by herself now.
She's
So let's
getting
go get
away.
them. It's okay. We can catch her. We can follow hoofbeats. We followed worse. Come on.
Can I follow and you go get the rest of the group?
Okay. I'm not going to tell you no, Serena, because I've known you my whole life and I trust you. But please do not get too close.
I will not get too close.
She will not catch the running horse, but she'll head in that direction.
Is it moving quickly or is it like lazily walking away?
So you don't actually see the horse.
Dust.
Right,
Yeah,
you're just
it
seeing the
picked up
dust trail.
All right, so
Oh,
I'm gonna
that's
reach in.
not good. Okay, never
Yeah.
mind.
Okay,
I'll
yeah,
come with
okay.
you.
All right. Okay.
I didn't think she was in a big hurry.
Looks like she doesn't want to be found out about, but if she's without her guards and cover now, it's the best time to go and see. But it could have just been a runner warning another party of something or another. But
It was
either
probably
way,
her.
we should get everybody out. So let's go.
I like to jump to conclusions.
Yes, I have that problem myself.
All right, so moving this along a little bit then, back at the other end, short rest there would have completed. So anybody that wanted to spend one, feel free to type in what you're spending your short rest on and restore as needed. And then, of course, update your display when you get a moment to reduce that short rest. Okay, and then some time passes, and it sounds like Vin and Serena, you want to try to make your way back to the group, right?
Yep, we'll follow our own trail back to them.
All right, so you do indeed, and you guys are all reconvened at the first spot 500 feet away from the camp.
She ran. We saw a horse. We didn't see if it's her specifically, but there was somebody leaving out the backside, heading north.
Ah. You gotta look at her?
Too far away. We have
She's
two
She was
options.
moving quick.
She's going north, so we know that much.
We've got two options, really. The first would be we could infiltrate. I'm assuming you guys got your shit back. We could infiltrate the logging camp again and see if she's there and sent a runner. Or we could go and chase down her horse, because it was just one horse.
Where are our horses?
And then
Do we
what?
have horses?
Well, I don't know, Serena, but why is she hiding herself from us?
Great question.
And as far as like our relations to the country to the north, so.
Miele has great connections. She's got trading routes that go all through there. It's definitely not friendly territory. Not to mention the abomination that's right on the coastline.
All right, pop me. I'm ready to go. I'll at least confirm that she's there. It'll just take me 10 minutes.
Okay, that's 10 minutes we're going to lose on following her, so please make it quick, but I agree.
That's why we're doing, because it might not be her.
Not
It
gonna
would
catch
save
a
us.
horse.
It would save us a lot of trouble.
We don't need to catch a horse, we just need to follow it.
Okay, then we could follow it after to determine that she's actually left.
I don't know why you don't believe us, but okay.
No,
Well, you didn't see who it was.
it takes me 10 minutes to go in there, invisible spider.
Ryan, it's going to take
Maybe
us
you can
12 if
hear
you keep
them
talking
talking
about it.
about her and saying her name. Then we wouldn't even have to follow her.
Yeah, I know.
That sounds like the best and logical conclusion that leads to none of us having to traipse through the woods any further, so let's get a move on. I believe in you, Dean.
So,
All right.
Blixel, you're spending another invisibility. If so, go ahead and push that to burn your invisibility. And then, Dean, you're wild shaping the spider and basically repeating what you did. Try to go back in and do the same kind of stuff.
Yeah, same kind of stuff, and you could retcon that and do what you described. We will deal with what you described.
Okay, so go ahead and throw me a blind check as you make your way there in there, spiderly, invisibly. Okay, so even with that hero point,
I don't like that tone.
you rolled a 3 and a 1. I will just tell you
Can I
that.
inspiration it then?
Sure, yeah, if you want to, yeah. All right, so we got a
Nice, way
15 now.
better.
All right, so you make your way in to the camp. There's no one detects you or anything like that. You enter into the same cabin or log, kind of structure that you were in before. You don't see the woman is there any longer. How much time are you spending around among the loggers, among Lehman, that sort of thing?
Well, now Lehman's there. I want to spend, like I said, it takes 15 minutes. So I'm going to spend 15 minutes in there, and I want to see if he says anything to his cohorts, or if there's any documents, or if his demeanor, if he's excited, or if he mentions her name at all.
Okay, yep. So, all right, give me another blind check. This is essentially, you're listening as best you can based on the amount of time you're spending to see if you overhear anything of significance. Okay, so you're hearing chatter, and you can tell pretty clearly that yes, they were indeed trying to hide this woman from your presence, that they didn't want your group, and particularly the Count, to know that this woman was here. You do hear the name Milena mentioned, which you assume they're referring to this woman. I'm going to type this in chat real quick. You also overhear something about a camp. You hear something about soldiers, and you hear something about the jig is not up. Okay, we made sure it's still good to go, kind of thing.
Okay, with that golden ticket, I will bounce at him, and
All
I'll
right.
meet up with the group.
You bounce up and down in spider. No, I'm kidding. All right, yeah. So you make.
Like, dude, I do spider push-ups. I'm so excited.
All right, you make your way out, and yeah, no real risk of any issues here on your way out. You cross the bridge once again. I would say altogether, you've probably, from traveling in, listening, it's been like 30 minutes at this point.
Okay, so don't turn me back from invisibility. I like this, Blixel. And I'll just turn back to my normal form, and I'll tell the group what you've described to me.
Okay.
Soldiers.
Soldiers. Jinx. Well, now we gotta go find this camp, eh? The gig is most certainly up.
Yeah, this sounds like trees and stuff. What are they gathering soldiers for?
Well,
Let's go. Come on.
follow the horse.
I'm nearly half dead, so does anybody... we don't have time to wait. Can somebody boost me up a little bit? Give me a little juice.
Let me give you a
I
healing
did.
potion I have in my pocket.
Yeah, you did, Serena, but that cured me from near death to, almost dead.
I have a potion of healing I will give to you, so you can roll the dice for that.
Well, let's save that.
Oh, okay. I put the cork back on.
I'd rather just give you some blessing of Avani here. Come over here.
I'll take my shirt off.
No, keep your shirt on.
Okay. Get
That's how
12.
it works.
Get 12 back. Max.
Thank you. I'll stretch a little bit. All right. I'll turn around and look at Saline. Been quiet. What does the seer say about this?
The seer says this is a very risky plan, but I know I'm not going to be able to dissuade you. If we march up to a camp with a bunch of soldiers that we're not supposed to know about, they are going to attack us.
Wait. After this successful infiltration we just did, you think we're going to just dip, dive, and roll into their camp? No. No. But the information they don't want us to have that they do not think we have, we need to get a little bit more, and then we can go home. We don't need to stop what they're doing right here and now, but if we uncover it and discover how it's being influenced and who the main players are, then when we get back to our safe walls, we could find a way to dispose of it without threatening our lives.
How long until Serena's scouts are mustered?
Well, there's no telling. Mistakes are made every day. Either way, do we want treasonous individuals running around in our home?
No.
Do we want secret soldiers gathering on our borders?
Sounds like they might be within our borders. But also
Still
no.
own the borders. Either way, if they're guild soldiers, that's one thing. If they're mercenary soldiers, Doson soldiers, elvish soldiers, we've learned another. Or Ryuven. Not to mention sneaking a platoon of soldiers through county lines. That sounds interesting.
It's worth investigating.
Serena, what do you think as the 5-star general of Korea?
A
You hear
well
from
earned
an invisible
title.
person. Go, sorry, go ahead.
I would like to consult my sources to determine exactly how long it will take to be up and running.
You're sort of cutting out there.
Oh, Adam, as a general, would I know how long it would take for the scouts to be up and running?
Yes, yep. So you guys put in that command as part of the first domain action. So essentially, by the time the next council session rolls around 2 weeks from now, you expect that unit of scouts to be operational.
Ready to deploy, so we could switch the orders, right? We could deploy.
16 days away.
Wait, are we not investigating this writer?
No, we
No.
are.
Shouldn't we
We
be
are.
chasing her now?
Yes, I
Yes.
guess we should. Serena, do you want to help me track this horse?
Can
Or
we
are you-
circle
At
when
a
we do
safe
it?
distance, sure.
Yeah, when we do it, Adam, because I know, like, it went this way. Can we kind of do like this number and try to catch up on the tracks a little further down so we don't get seen by the camp over here?
Yeah, you can do that.
Because we saw Serena and I know the direction to go out of the tree line, and we saw the direction the horse was going. So I'm sure we can do a little loop-de-loop, little lollipop around. See if we can find some tracks. We can even trace back a little bit closer to the camp if we had to.
And keep in mind, my lord, we are under the cover, a very good ruse, that we're investigating the murder of loggers. So our presence here is known to the guild, and we have an excellent excuse if we were to be found. Now, of course, we don't want to start a war, but, we are not necessarily trespassing by any means. But yes, it is a spy mission with a very good cover.
That's true. I will say, though, that I'm sure my face may have been passed around in terms of what it looks like, and maybe I don't lead conversations going forward, at least if we have to come to it. However, I hope that we don't have to talk to anyone. I think our main mission should be we just put eyes on it,
We're just
get an
watching.
idea.
Yes,
Yep.
we put eyes and leave. I agree.
All right,
And
so
then the guard, I'm sure, would like to know about it.
I'm going to soft move us forward kind of quickly here because I think I've got what you're trying to do. Try to remain unseen and then try to go in the direction the horse was going and see what you find, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Stealthily.
Trepidatiously.
So you guys spend about 45 minutes or so going past the camp, trying to make sure there's no way eyes could get on you, then go over in that direction, crossing the the narrow river at this point. It's pretty easy to do. Once you do, you find the tracks of the horse without much difficulty. You follow that for another, say, 15, 20 minutes or so. And as you're kind of coming around a bend, there's light trees like on your left. You're now more close to the actual Rude River offshoot. You notice now to the northwest, there looks to be some kind of a army encampment. It is not very massive, but you see that there's about 5 different tents, and you notice about 15 people kind of meandering about, and you notice other movement inside the tents, which gives you the approximation there's probably somewhere between 20 and 30 individuals approximately in this encampment. You notice there are several horses tied up to these like wooden like kind of blocks. They look like they're kind of readied. You notice all of these individuals are wearing light armor, so think of this as like leather armor. Some might be wearing studded leather armor, that sort of thing. Most of them seem to have bows. You see a lot of spears amongst them and also hand weapons like swords, axes here or there. There seems to be sort of one central, what you would presume to be a command tent, and then 4 other like kind of support tents or pseudo barracks.
Do we see any kind of banners or anything that would
No.
indicate?
There is no banner whatsoever, which it might be in itself a little bit out of the ordinary.
It is definitely out of the ordinary. Alright, well, let's get off of this road. We know what's here now.
Are we out of invisibilities?
I don't
Yes.
think any of us invisible, so let's
Yeah.
is the encampment down a hill? Is it straight ahead of us? Could you give us an idea of the landscape, Adam?
So imagine that you are like you're kind of riding along, or not riding, you're walking along a trail. There's like light trees on your left side. The land kind of turns a little bit now, or this kind of rough dirt path does, you could think of it as. It goes down a little bit, but not anything massive. And then say 300 feet past where it kind of turns, that's where you're spotting this encampment.
Okay.
We're not fighting an encampment. Just
No, I was
gathering
just playing
information.
around. I was just the chat was just me joking around.
And this was sort of a well-worn trail we went down, or no?
I would say it's more of like dirt path. It doesn't look like something you expect has main traffic, but it might be something that like nearby farmers or other folks maybe have used on occasion throughout the years.
Well, we know that she just returned, so we need to see who she's speaking with and about what. I know that you've done it a few times, gentlemen, and I'll turn and look at Blixo and Dean. Any more tricks up your sleeves?
I just feel I run the risk of frustrating our DM with this clever ruse. I'm sure we'll get caught eventually.
It's only if your
Just roll
rolls are
good.
bad, sir. Yes.
How far away are we from the camp, Adam?
About 300 feet at this point.
And I hope we've moved off the trail so that if anyone...
I could turn 2 people invisible. The 2 of you want to be invisible?
What? You could do that this whole time?
It costs more of my magic to do it. I don't do it unless I need to, and it would use my most powerful magical ability. But yeah, I could make 2 of you invisible if you want to go check
What
it
are the
out.
chances of us encountering a portal to the Shadow Realm on our way home? Slim to none.
Suspiciously high.
Yeah, it's about 50-50 at this point.
By the way, we're definitely taking the long way around.
Yes, I like the idea of using 2 people going invisible. We can have 2 different people gather 2 different types of information. One person can gather who, what, any kind of sign of important people, and the other can see if they can snag some information. Battle plans, documents, anything like that. One can steal, one can observe.
And keep in mind, I cannot communicate.
So
None of you
shall be
understand.
observing, I'm assuming.
None of you can understand arachnid.
I am
But
not stealthy.
Are you
I do
still
realize-
you're still a spider?
No, I can go one more time. Oh, am I still a spider? No, I'm not.
Yeah, you turn back to talk to you. Well, I'm not stealthy, so I got a big mouth. Some people say, so it's probably not a good idea for it to be me.
I will go. Who's coming with me?
Spider DN, it's worked so far. Unless, what do you, Celine? Do you want to go in there invisible?
I am not stealthy. The medium armor, the clanging of my metal cheeks will alert the sentries, or however the meme goes.
Okay. I think one of those tents is the shower tent. You could sneak in there, catch a peek. All right. Well, so it's going to be DN and Vin over here. You guys ready? Now, say you guys get caught. Are you just going to try to break out and we all run?
You can tease it.
We won't get caught.
Well, I like your confidence. I will say that I saw this area is full of weird creatures, so just be careful. I'm going to play my card.
Man.
Oh no.
Someone's going to eat the spider on the way in.
All right, well, that is a perfect time to go ahead and end our session. What I will say here, Blixel, is your card will be played, but we will find the results of it next week. How does that work?
Sure.
If we're doing that, I want to play my card too.
I was going to say, I can't believe you haven't played it yet.
Listen, okay, I'm scared of curses, but if we're all going full chaos mode.
Hey, last time I played this card, we got golden set of antlers. So
So the card Saline has, I don't think has ever come up yet. All right, so
She dropped
Oh.
something on the trail.
All right, I was just going to say, how does it work? Okay, so you're kind of walking down the trail when you discover this. So throw me a D100, first of all.
Nice.
wow,
That's
that's
an
an
awesome
awesome
card.
card. Holy crap!
Whoa, a 5? Whoa.
Ooh, you might get a curse item now.
Now
Yeah,
roll
table, so
me
there's a lot of chances for stuff.
roll me a 1D57.
Oh man.
It's how many hit points you lose.
Ooh.
I'm okay.
All right. So as you're making your way down this path, perhaps covered in trail dust and dirt and that sort of thing, you notice that there is a small horn on the ground here. You kind of spot this out of your in your eyesight, clear off the dust here, and yeah, it looks like a horn that might help you hear. Like you stick one end into your ear and you put the other wider end out, and it would help you hear.
That seems very useful for this situation.
This is, and I'll just let you know because it's a common magic item based on you having rolled a 5. This is what's known as an ear horn of hearing. You can feel free to add that to your sheet.
I'm probably going to give it to Vin, I guess, if he's going in. But
feel free to decide that. But yeah, as we are a little bit over time here, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap up our session at this point. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll pick up next week. Hopefully we'll be able to resolve the encampment thing. And then is it safe to assume your plans are obviously I know things could change based on the results of the encampment encounter, but are you guys intending to head back to Carolinian at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main hope is that it goes well and that we can pick up some good information from our spy mission and go home.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to assume your plan is then. And obviously, I understand that this encounter might change things, but my expectation is you guys will make your way back to the capital after this encounter.
And I would like to do a somewhat circuitous route so that we do not go right past the place where we expect the Naga to pop back up.
Fair enough. Yes, wise. All right, good deal, guys. Well,
I'm
I hope you enjoyed this session. We'll pick up next week. That was like 4 green cards today, which is crazy because they're like not very common. So yeah, interesting stuff.
Are we sure? They feel very common.
It is very random, to be honest. But remember, because the card deck is technically infinite, every time a card's drawn, every card's available. So it's just, this is just a random, weird day for cards. But yeah, sometimes that's how it goes. So maybe next time will be all red cards, right? You never know.
I hope not.
I'll tell you.
Spy encounter.
Blixel thinks something's going on with the Shadow Realm at this point. It's like, why does this keep happening?
Yeah, it's almost like it's drawn to you guys somehow. Weird, right? All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see everybody next week.
All right, good night.
Have a good week, everybody.
GG, guys.